Okay, and again, a minute ago, I said, any man that's got a woman that don't want to be about the law and obey Yah's law, so he got to leave her, right? You got to let her go. All right. The same thing with the woman. She don't have a man that doesn't want to do the laws, statutes, ordinances, judgments, commandments, precepts of Yah. She got to let him go. See, you don't stay around and get into any nonsense. Simple as that. You got to make a decision. See, and you can't put anything or anybody. Don't we see that in Deuteronomy? Before Yah, not even yourself. See, and you give Yah 100%, he gonna give you 100%. Okay, yeah, you give him 10% or 50% or 70%, and you ain't getting 100% from him. You understand? And he'll give you that 10 or 50 or 70%, and he'll say how you like it. Okay, there's gonna be times when you're gonna be wanting him to come to your aid, and he's not. Simple as that. Okay. And again, picking up the scenario again, our progenitor, when we see how they one wife, right? Y'all say one wife. Look how what y'all did with him. Prospered in big time. And again, coming back to what Othniel brought to me, you think Yahweh was prideful? Well, again, Yah dealt with Yahweh coming up, right? Again, when you're a child, you get these thoughts in your mind. And when he had the two dreams, right? When we go there and look at it, right? He told it, he told his brothers that, he had this dream about them bowing down. Now, Yaakov, he wasn't on the scene, but he found out about it. And then when he had the second dream, he told his father and his brothers, like at the same time. And Yaakov upbraided him. But then what does it say? Yaakov considered it because he's like, I wonder if this is from Yah, right? Because this is the second time he didn't had this dream. But by the same token, Yahweh's a child. So now, you understand, he might have been entertaining some thoughts of hubrisness because he was about Yah. His father had made him the coat, the rainbow coat. You understand? Many colors. So now he knows he's endeared to his father because he's about the law. Maybe he has some thoughts of hubrisness, but Yah is preparing him for the time to come. So now what? He gets thrown in the hole, right? Then he gets sold down into Egypt, right? Then he gets lifted up, you understand, to where this Egyptian buys him and he becomes, you understand, like the steward of his house, running the Egyptian's house. So he's prospering again, but he knows all this time he has not departed from Yah. Yah is blessing him. Maybe he got a little bit of hubris again. Now here's this, you understand, Egyptian's wife want him to lay with her. We know Yahweh knew the law. We know he know about Yah because again, he got the rainbow. The rainbow coat was made, so he knows the law. But also, what did he tell the Egyptian woman's wife? I sin against Yah if I do this thing. I'm not gonna do this, right? So now he had to be, you understand, brought into a situation of what? Humbleness again, right? So he got put into the prison, right? Then Yah lifts him up where he running the whole prison. You understand what I'm saying? He running the prison where the keeper of the prison didn't even have to look to anything that he assigned Yahweh to do because he knew Yahweh was faithful. He knew he gonna do it. But at the same time, Yah is preparing Yahweh for what? For the time to come. So that when Yah lifted him up, you understand, in less than 24 hours, he became, you understand, at 30 years old, he became ruler of Egypt, only answerable to Pharaoh. But now Yah has prepared him where he's not what? He's not hubris. He is not arrogant. He's not egotistical. He's not prideful. Like he told his brothers when he revealed himself to them. He said, I'm not mad at you. This was from Yah. Because Yah prepared me, you understand, to be able to handle this. I know this is about Yah. We don't see it in the book because the illuminated Edomite took it out. But the whole time that Yahweh was in Egypt, he magnified Yah every inch of the way. Magnifying Yah by his holy name, every part of the way. This had to be replete through Egyptian history. This is what the illuminated Edomites, when they burnt down the great library of Egypt back there during the time of Julius Caesar when he was in Egypt, they blamed it on the Romans, but that was them that did that. I know it was them, because they don't want us or any people that really understand what happened back then. This is when Egypt became great, huh? When YHWH was set up over Egypt. This is when the name of Yah was magnified. Like I said, I know Egyptian history, in true Egyptian history, was replete with the name of Yah during this time, picking up from back there when Abraham was there, when they just got a little taste of Yah and understanding who their creator is. See? And this is what, again, the illuminated Edomite didn't want us to know today. Didn't want anybody to understand. Definitely not Israel. Again, the 83rd son. Let's deal with them craftily. See? Where they never can hook up with Yah again. Where they'll never understand that Yah is the strong one. He's the power and the glory, the majesty. Huh? Yah is the victory. Yah is the kingdom. This is what Yah has shown us without question. So now picking up that thread I sowed earlier in the session, right? Lusitania, then Pearl Harbor, all planned by the illuminated Edomites. You follow me? Like I said, the Gulf of Tionkin, we know that unequivocally was a lie. Everybody know that was a total lie. Okay, Viet Cong had attacked no Gulf of Tionkin. See, look at what they did in Iran with Mossadegh back in '53. Cooed him because he nationalized, you understand, from these Illuminati Edomite industries, right? You know, the Halliburtons, the General Dynamics, the Raytheons, the Lockheed Martins, the Bowens, the Carlyle Group. See, he nationalized it. We got to get rid of him. You follow me? Look at Lumumba. He was talking that same thing when he became president of the Congo. So what they do? They got Mabudu to sell Lumumba out, huh? And they killed Lumumba, dismembered him. They didn't want no remembrance of him. See what I'm saying? Got to get rid of these ones want to nationalize. 73 with Allende in Chile. Same thing. He nationalized. He want this for his people. You understand? Not for these parasites, these vultures that come in and stick their teeth in the neck of the country and take out all of his lifeblood and get the people of the country in their debt to the IMF. You understand? You follow me? Isn't that why old boy wrote Confessions of an Economic Hitman? You understand? See? You follow me? I'm telling you, this is the illuminated Edomite. That's these corporations. Fascists. This is not a republic. This United States, this is fascism. Okay? Like Aaron Russo wrote, Americanism to fascism. That's what this country is, fascist. Like what we play for all you Americans, one huge corporation divvied up by a little individual corporation, but all owned basically without a doubt by the illuminated Amalekite International Bank and Edomites. And they got their front men's out there, the Bill Gates, huh? The Zuckerbergs, huh? The Bezoses, huh? The sailors. You know, I'm telling you, it's all, you understand? You know what I mean? It's just, it's total mythology. You know what I mean? Like Disraeli said, you understand? The real rulers, of this world, you know what I mean? They hidden. See? And that's what the illuminated Edomite knows. They're seeing now. Again, isn't that the prophecy? You understand? The one chapter about how thy hidden things, secret things sought up and searched out. right? Yeshaya 47, the daughter of Babylon, right? Cross over the rivers, right? Let down thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh. Come sit in the dust, O virgin daughter. You shall no longer be called the lady of kings, the lady of dominions. That's just America, because now, this Ukrainian thing is all about, you understand, the bankers. The fiat currency is collapsing. It has basically collapsed. I mean, it's, as I read to all of you with the Rothschild communicated to Henry Maycow, the dollar is seen this day. But not only the dollar, all these fiat currencies. Now they want to go into some crypto, you understand, electronic nonsense. See, but Russia, China, right? You understand? And it's Illuminati members over there. So are they fracturing? Again, recompense. You get what you put out, huh? You understand? Dominion is this? The diversified dominion, Daniel chapter 7. So that's his strength and his weakness, right? So the illuminated Edomite has used diversity coming up through this fourth dominion of man to diversify the people, right? To weaken them, where they could control them, where they could take advantage of them. That's why they came up with all of the religions. See, so what we see in the 41st chapter of Yeshaya, when Yah says, you understand, matter of fact, let me read it to you verbatim, okay? What Yah says, he talking about, you understand, the idols and the images. And I'm going to pick this up, right? Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, you understand, but let me just pick this up. Okay, let me just take it from the top. 41st chapter of Yeshaya. Keep silence before me, O island, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near, then let them speak. Let us come near to judgment together. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings? He gave them as the dust to his sword, and as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet, Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, Yah, the first, and with the last, I am he. Where you get two out of I and me? Where you get three out of I and me? I and me is singular. One, the strong one, Yah of hosts, he who creates. And this man that he's talking about here is Abraham, is it not? Again, the isles saw it and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near and came. They helped everyone his neighbor. Everyone said to his brother, be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smooths with the hammer, him that smote the anvil, saying, it is ready for the soldering. He fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved. But you, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. You whom I have taken from the ends of the earth. And we in the daughter of Babylon, the hindermost of the nations, right? And called thee from the chief men thereof, secondary chief, skull and bone boys here in the daughter of Babylon, right? And said unto thee, thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy strong one. I will strengthen thee. Yes, I will help thee. Yes, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. See, but we got to be totally committed to our wife, which is the law. And if we're 100% committed to obeying Yah's laws, statutes, ordinances, judgments, and precepts with all our heart and all our soul, Deuteronomy 30 verse 2, then our husband, Yah of hosts, he will provide for us. He will shield us. He will bless us. He will lead us. He will be at our rearward. He won't allow anything to harm us. Chapter 54, Yeshua to bang in. And he's saying it again here, right? I will help thee. Yes, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. Because they ain't going to understand. Not only ashamed, they ain't able to understand. They confounded, right? Again, they shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them and shall not find them. And I don't run into them. Around here in this city, there's plenty of people I know, through the years. I don't run into any of them. Okay? Just like it said in 53rd Yeshua, they hide their faces. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Again. All right? What does it say? You shall seek them and shall not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, Yah, thy strong, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm, Yaakov. Because in the sight of, that's all we are. I mean, again, we ain't supposed to walk around with hubrisness, arrogance, and pride and ego. This ain't about us, it's about Yah. Huh? Humility is before honor. Right? Vengeance belongs to Yah. Will Smith didn't understand that. Because he don't understand nothing. Because he in the Scientology. Him and that Jada Pinkett Smith. She running the house. Like I say, she laughed when the Caucasian female comedian mentioned about their open marriage before Chris Rock said anything about G.I. Jane too. She laughed about that out loud. Will Smith sat there, drawing up, you understand, uncomfortable. Because it ain't funny to him because he being emasculated by her in the sight of everybody. See? But now, when Chris Rock made the statement later on about she could play G.I. Jane too, and she's sitting there, she don't like it. See? And he first laughed at Will Smith, but then, he's smiling, but then he look over her and see she don't like it. So now he gonna get up and like, he gonna, come, that old Ahab mindset. He got Jezebel, now, he gonna protect her. You understand? This old prideful, arrogant, stupid. He gonna make the most egregious, stupid move that can be made. Vengeance belongs to Yah. See? But we know words can hurt and words can uplift. Solomon talks about that in Proverbs, does he not? Right? And also, Yeshua talks about it. Yah through Yeshua in chapter 42. Bring forth, what is the servant to do? Bring forth judgment unto truth. Right? You follow me? You understand? And we'll become Yah's, instruments of refinement. You know what I mean? Makes our mouth like a two-edged sword. That's the judgment and the truth. See? This is another reason why people hide their faces. Right? Back here in 41 Yeshaya. Right? And here it is right here. What? Right? I will help thee, saith Yah, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Here it is in verse 15. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Well, okay, you understand? Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. And that's this righteous. That's this word here we speak. It's in our heart that Yah, you understand, engraved on the table of our heart and on our inward parts. Yeremiah chapter 31:31. That's the new covenant. See, everybody got to read and study and pray and do this thing. Everybody got to read. This word of Yah, 46:13-51 Yeshaya, it's near everybody. Nobody has an excuse why they don't know it. They don't know it because they don't study it. They don't care. They ain't looking for Yah. That's the only reason they don't know it. But they're not applying themselves. Right? Right? What does it say? Verse 16, thou shalt fan them, the wind shall carry them away. Right? You understand what I'm saying? And the whirlwind shall scatter them, and thou shalt rejoice in Yah, and shall glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue fails for thirst, I, Yah, will hear them. You hear that? I, the strong of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open up rivers in high places, and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittim tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine, and the box together. That's to fight them parasites, the turpentine. You follow me? Not no chemo, not no operations open you up. You take that turpentine, them parasites fly about your body. But if you adhere to the menu of Yah, you're not eating unclean things anyway. Nothing from the bee. Bee's unclean, the flying fly. See? You don't eat swine. You don't eat chicken and turkey hybrids and scavengers. Huh? We supposed to discern between the clean and the unclean. Leviticus 20:25. We don't drink cow's milk, the milk of kine, K-I-N-E, Deuteronomy chapter 32. We drink the milk of sheep, huh? The milk of goats, Proverbs 27, right? Okay. And what does y'all say? I will open up rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys, right? I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the chitta, and the myrtle and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree, the pine, and the box tree together, that they may see, know, and consider and understand together that the hand of Yah hath done this, and the Holy One of Israel have created it. That's where we going. That's where it's moving to. Huh? See, that's why he getting us ready, just like he got YHWH ready. Huh? You follow what I'm saying? To handle. This is some heady stuff. Where we headed here. You follow me? Because the elite of the earth is coming to bow down, to lick up the dust at our feet, not to lick our feet. Bow down before us. Yeshaya chapter 49. The Holy One of Israel, YHWH, going to do this. Why? Because he's faithful. But we got to be faithful. We not to pick and choose of what we're going to do with his law. Again, Deuteronomy 30 verse 2. A-L-L. All of his law. And we offer up the calves of our lips. Hosea 14. Solomon's supplication. Huh? So-called 1 Kings, 1 Governors chapter 8. Right? 2 Chronicles chapter 6 and 7. Yah's acceptance, in the 9th chapter of so-called 1 King, right? And Yah's acceptance in 2 Chronicles 7 of Solomon's supplication. We offer up the calves of our lips. We turn toward Jerusalem, humble ourselves and pray and implore Yah. You understand? For these things that we see we need, that we want Yah's way to come to pass. See, you want something, you ask Yah for it. If he doesn't give it to you, evidently you ain't ready for it yet. One of the worst things can happen is you get something that you're not ready to handle. I just said that depends, have I not? Okay. Verse 21, produce your cause, saith Yah. Bring forth your strong reason, saith the king of your cold. Let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things that, show the former things what they be, right? That we may consider them and know the latter end of them, to declare us things for to come. Your idols and images. Your idols of Hasidism, of Judaism, your idols of Christianity, your idols of Islam, your idols of Scientology, your idols of Buddhism or Hinduism. Let them tell you what's past and what's to come. Right? Look what y'all say about them. You understand? Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are strong ones. Right? Yes, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. Right? Similar to what Elia said in so-called 1 Kings chapter 18, is it not? To the people then, and to the you understand, the priest of Baal, the main idol in the Canaanite pantheon. It started out being the idol of fertility. You understand? Sex. You understand? And secondary to his father El, the strong one of the Canaanite pantheon. That's all El means, strong one. That's where they get God from, which just means good. You understand? But it's just, they call it God. You dig what I'm saying? And then eventually, what Baal superseded his father in the Canaanite pantheon. Did it not? It became the primary idol. See, and that's what our forefathers was into. That's why y'all said, I'm going to send, you understand? He brought forth El-Iyah, the strong one is Yah, the strong one is he who creates. He brought him forth, you understand, when we go over there, you understand, to so-called 1 Kings. Correct? You understand, 1 Governors, right? It's chapter 17, chapter 18. He had brought El-Iyah already 3 years previous, right? And told him it was going to be no rain till word came from him again. Then 3 years later, he brought it back. And then Eliah brought it to him in chapter 18, so-called first kings, really first governors, right? He said, how long you going to halt between these two different ideologies? If Yah is the most I serve him, if Baal is the most I serve him. But what Esau took out was the next thing Eliah said. But stop saying that you serving Yah and Baal is his son. Don't that sound familiar today? And they're doing the same thing today? Now check it. Behold, you are nothing, your work of naught, and an abomination is he that chooses these idols and images, whatever they may be. You hateful in the sight of Yah. That's why Yah doing what he doing. You know, Haggai chapter 1. He's smiting you in every work of your hand. Why? Because you're in idolatry. That's why this chokehold, that illuminated Edomite, the sword that's in Yah's hand, Jeremiah 25, he done put a tighter chokehold around the neck of the people of the earth. See, and this economic situation now is really exacerbating. You follow me? Because you see an inflation now. They tell you it's 7.5%, 8%. It's more than that. Right? You see gas prices, oil prices, food prices, you understand, rent, housing, everything going up exponentially. And it's going to keep on doing that. It ain't going to get any better. All right? Again, back here in 41 Yeshaya, I have raised up one from the north. That's the messenger. Right? And he shall come. Right? And from the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name. Because he get up in the morning, called on the name of Yah, turning toward Jerusalem, called on the name of Yah. Been doing it for years. Just like Daniel. Okay? He shall come upon princes or kings like upon mortar, like the potter treads clay. That's 52 Yeshaya. Sprinkle them with the publication. Okay? Back in September 2004. And when that happened, look what y'all been doing with him, huh? You understand? He been shaping and forming these monarchies, molding them for the time to come. You follow me? Just like he been doing with his servants, making us into his new threshing instrument, having teeth to smite the earth with the rod of our mouth. Yeshaya chapter 11, huh? Smite the earth with the rod of our mouth, huh? To slay the wicked with the breath of our lips. That's why they hide their faces. See, you get plenty of people talk about Yah. Huh? See, they can say whatever they want over the phone. You might talk with them for 10 years. They tell you all they about Yah. They like they about Yah. But then when they get up close, when you see them on day-to-day basis, huh? Then you understand whatever cracks, whatever crevices, whatever is not totally committed to Yah gonna show up. See, then you like, hey, wait a minute, what's this here? You know you ain't supposed to do this here. What's this here? What's this there? What's this there? What's that? You follow me? See? And you can't hide when you get close. The closer you get to the light. Ain't no hide. And those of us who steeped and predicated in Yah's law, statutes, order, judgments, commandments, and precepts, we got the book in our heart. You understand? On our inward part in our mind, up under our arm. Huh? We go here. Hey, you understand? What you doing? You know this ain't right. You understand what I'm saying? See? You follow me? See? So again, what does it say here? Y'all working with those monarchies, getting them ready. That's why they still around. Huh? You understand? The monarchy over there in Britain, the monarchy in Sweden and Denmark and Belgium and the Netherlands and Norway. Follow me? They were sprinkled. Now, you got a monarchy in Spain, too. They weren't supposed to be sprinkled. We see that, you know, I got to say in the past over there in 66 Yeshaya. Right? Verse 26, who have declared from the beginning that we may know, and before time that we may say he is righteous. Yes, there is none that shows. Yes, there is none that declares. Yes, there is none that hears your words. See, the idols and the images, they ain't talked about this. But here it is over my right shoulder, is it not? Yah, our righteousness. In the midst of her, the daughter of Babylon, Illinois. Look at your map of the United States. The Midwest, in the middle of her. Huh? And again, mid-America, Kansas to Ohio. Okay? See? So again, and again, verse 27 is talking about, you understand, those who went before Yah. Yeshaya chapter 48, the first 10 verses, the Demona movement, as I call it. That's over there in Demona and Mizpeh and Arad, wherever else they are. Some of them's over here still in the door of Babylon, right? The first shall say this, they was the first one brought back, Ezekiel 16, to their former state. Again, Demona, Mizpeh, go to YHWH chapter 15, check it out. The cities of the inhabitants of Yahudah. You got some Benjamites that's mixed with them too. And somebody brought that to me. Well, you say they come forth out of the waters of Yehuda, so they all got to be Yehuda. No, all of them ain't. Some of them are out of Benjamin. We know Benjamin was given to Yahuda, so Yahuda wouldn't dwell alone. Isn't that right? So maybe they just got a 50-50 chance, you know what I mean, to be wrong. I'm a Yehuda, man. You understand? They could be a Benjamin, right? He said, the first shall say to Zion, behold, behold them, I will give to Jerusalem one that brings good tidings. That's the movement of the Most High, our righteousness, right? For I have beheld, there was no man even among them, the first, right? The first one Yah brought back, Ezekiel 16, Sodom and her daughters. There was no man or counselor that when I asked them could answer a word, because he ain't allowed them to truly understand yet. See, and they're not going to truly understand till the Jerusalem movement is brought back and set in the midst of them. That's when y'all going to clear away the clouds around the fatness of their heart and the clouds between their ears and start really allowing them to understand, right? And again, right? Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion, because they got pictures of Ben-Ami and whatever else in their heart, and literally. See? Now, that's the real deal. So, again, coming back to the scenario, again, with the Lusitania, Pearl Harbor, you follow what I'm saying? What they did in Iran with Mossadegh in 53, what they did in the Congo with Lumumba, right, in 60-61, what they did with Allende in 73. They got rid of all of them because they was nationalizing. So Illuminati Edomite, you understand, sent the CIA and the disruptors, the jackals in, had them killed and put the puppets in there. That's what they did with this Poroshenko in 2014 in the Ukraine. They cooled the duly elected president in the Ukraine in 2014, put this Poroshenko in there. Now they didn't put this Edomite Zelensky in there in 2019. See? And what have they done? They shut down RT America, right? Totally shut that down. That was based in DC. See? You understand? They've taken people like Chris Hedges off the YouTube. Took all his stuff off. And like Chris Hedges said, you understand, 90-some% of the stuff was on YouTube by him. Wasn't even about this situation in the Ukraine. But Chris Hedges is talking about what? How you understand, the prison system here. How it's inequitous. And how they lock up Israelites. He called them black folks, you understand? But the Israelites, you understand, being locked up for nothing. Locked up for 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 years. On a I think, an alleged, maybe, we think, you understand, man, could be. Got them locked up 40, 50, 60 years, solitary confinement, some of them. You follow me? Want to say they in a gang or they in the Black Panthers. You understand? See? But they the ones bring the drugs over in the community. They're the ones wouldn't allow us, again, to have viable jobs. Again, but that's the curse, is it not? On Israel. Again, Haggai chapter 1. I've smitten you in every work of your hand. Why? Because my house is not in existence. You're not about me. So I put this curse on you. Right? What does Solomon say? Right in chapter 7 of the book of Ecclesiastes. When prosperity comes, be joyful. But when adversity comes, consider. See? And again, y'all righteousness is here. You follow me? Y'all started to lift it up when the Edomites went into Lebanon and hewed it down. Yeshaya chapter 33. That's when he lifted himself up. Yahrim Yah. You understand? He who creates lifts up he who creates. And that's when he did it. 2006, July. Right? Quite naturally, the monarchy started to be sprinkled a year and a half prior to that. You understand? Not quite years prior to that, right? In September 2004. That's when I look at the stone really starting to hit. But Yah didn't really started vault himself out in the sight of the people until, you understand, just like the prophecy in Yeshaya chapter 33. When the Edomites went in, you understand, disregarding the covenant that they had made with our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians, you understand, that was in the land, that they was breaking that covenant constantly, right, that the so-called Palestinians was adhering to, and they went over in Lebanon and hewed it down, just like they just dropped that, you understand, little lightweight nuclear bomb on Lebanon here the other year. But just like they doing now with all of the lies and the distortions, right? You understand what I mean? You know, the untruths, the same way they did with that, talking about it was some fertilizer, just like in the Oklahoma bombing, which was some nonsense. Same thing with what happened in Lebanon. There's a little lightweight nuclear bomb the Edomites dropped on them. You understand? And same thing they do with the Ukraine. They don't want you to hear the other view. Right? Now, why are they so scared about you hearing what Russia Today got to say? Why are they so scared of you hearing what the Chris Hedges and the Matt Tiabis and the Glenn Greenwalds, what they got to say about this thing? And they ain't the only one. You got Alex and Alexander. Y'all listen to them all the time. Alexander's in the UK. Alex, I forget where he is. But they come on internet. You follow me? You got to go to Press TV, Rumble, and again, Chris Hedges, Matt Tiabi, Glenn Greenwald. Now they're on this site called Substack. I think y'all see you got to pay a little money to go in there and listen to them. You understand? To go into that. But again, the Illuminated Edomite is trying to keep anybody that's looking at this thing in reality. You understand? Like Peter Lavelle, you can still bring him up. You understand, on his podcast on RT International, because he over there in Moscow. And he have different ones on his show. You understand? Well, one boy is over there in Istanbul. Another one, he's over there in Moscow. But they be running stuff down. He have other people on there too. You understand what I'm saying? The other day we saw Alistair Cook out of the UK. You understand? He running it down. This thing that the Illuminated Edomite of the West is doing with these sanctions, this is hurting America. This is hurting the European countries of the West. Right? Because they get like anywhere from 30 to 90% of their gas and oil, from Russia over there. You understand? In Western Europe. America gets so much oil from Russia. You follow me? That's why Biden had to come out and tap 180 million barrels of reserved oil. You understand what I'm saying? That America, the daughter of Babylon, got in reserve. You follow me? And let it out. Talking about they want to help the people lower gas prices. Have you seen gas prices go down? You follow me? Because that's a lie. They got to do it, in other words, to keep some gas here. Because now that they put these sanctions on Russia, you understand what I mean? They was getting like 30-something% of the oil from Russia. So now they got to try to fill up, the gas and the oil. They got to try to make up the difference from that. So they got to go into their reserve. When you start going into your reserves, means now you can see an end when your reserves going to run out. Now, brother told me here other week, he said, you understand, America has 750 million barrels of oil in reserve. Now they used up 50 million barrels, he told me, last November. Now they talking about using up another 180 million that'll take them all the way to the end of September. 6 months, you understand, worth of oil they're going to use up. Now that'll leave them 520 million barrels. Okay, at 180 million barrels every 6 months, you talking about a little over 2 years of oil reserves they got? And like I saw on Bloomberg here the other week, they saying, Biden gonna let out this 180 million barrels of oil. He said, but now, where he gonna replace this with? What he gonna replace it with? Because again, the Saudis, they going over to China and Russia. I know plenty of y'all probably saw that, right? That the Saudis is going to China. They gonna start selling oil for the RMB, the yuan. You didn't see Putin and come out and said, if you want oil and gas from Russia, you understand, all enemy nations got to use the ruble, which is going to strengthen the ruble. Ruble is already starting to be strengthened. The dollar is collapsing, crumbling right before our eyes. Okay? And as time goes, as we keep going further down this path, you understand what I'm saying? No country gonna want the dollar, because you can't do nothing with it. Only thing they can do is use the dollar here, which is going to create more inflation, which is going to create higher prices. Food, energy, housing, everything is going to get higher and higher. More dollars is going to be needed because now we're starting to enter into massive exponential inflation. We're in trouble, and a lot of it. And it's only Yah not only can save Israel out of the trouble we in, it's only Yah that can save the earth and the people thereof out of the trouble that they're in, because now you get massive food shortages on the southern part of the earth in these nations. You're going to be getting food. You're already getting them in Europe, Western Europe. Russia had to move because they had to stop these biolabs being created. You understand? They had to stop, just like what we see what happened, like I said, what America did to Germany back before leading into World War I, what they did to Japan, you understand, leading into World War II, and Germany in World War II, because they built Germany up for World War II. We done talked about that in the past. The illuminated Amalekite International Bank and Edomite is the cause of this. They're the sword that Yah has brought on the inhabitants of the earth to drive the people of the earth mad. Jeremiah chapter 25. Genesis 27. The sword bears the descendants of Esau, and these Amalekite Edomites, number chapter 24, have risen to the dominion of the earth. Now their dominion is crumbling as I speak. Even more so than last time I said this. That's what's happening. It's all from Yah. Like I just read in 41. What did Yah say? Who declared it before that? Okay? Now we're seeing it come to fruition. And Yah alone is salvation. Bombs, bullets, not salvation. Huh? Bread, water, not salvation. Huh? Silver and gold is not salvation. Yah is salvation. And not only for Israel, but the people of the earth, right? And all they have to do is turn to Yah with all their heart, all their soul, and become compliant, totally submissive and committed to obeying Yah's laws, statutes, ordinances, judgments, commandments, and precepts. And then Yah is your salvation. To magnify the name of Yah. He got one name, YHWH. In English, YHWH. It's not YAH. Again, if you're going to say it or write it in its phonetical form, if you're going to write it, YAHH. That's the phonetical writing. You understand what I mean? But that's not how it's spelled. YHWH. And the Y is silent. Yah. But that's how you spell it. It ain't no Yahweh. It ain't no Yehovah. It ain't no Yahweh, Yahweh. Ain't no Yahuwah. Okay? It ain't no Jehovah. Ain't none of that. That's garbage. All that's aberrating. That's not the name of Yah. Yah is Yah. He got one name and one way. That's it. And beside him, there is no Savior. So again, Yah's been getting us ready, just like he got Yahweh ready for the time to come. So that when this happens, we don't stick our chest out. We don't get arrogant and look like Jada Pinkett looked when Chris Rock said that about G.I. Jane 2. She got that arrogant look on her face. That's what Will Smith saw. So he gonna defend her, do something totally and utterly ignorant and stupid. Like I said, here back in 91, he on Arsenio Hall's show doing the same thing, Chris, even more so. You understand? Than what Chris Rock did. He was talking about this guy's bald head. Tune it up on Jimmy Toe and look at it. And then had to say, oh, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. See? But now here, you understand, 31 years later, he gonna jump up and go smack Chris Rock. How ignorant is that? Horrible. That's what these young folks is doing out here. You understand? They put something up on social media. You understand? Talking about another group of young folks or rappers or something. Then they want to go out and kill them, shoot them down. Totally and utterly nonsense, destroying themselves. And the Esau, you understand? He forwards this. He assists this. See, he loved to see that. You go out here killing one another, destroying them and yourself. When you do it, when you murder. Recompense, because you're going to get that back. Okay? You understand? Those who spill man's blood, you understand, woman's blood, their blood is going to be spilled by man, woman. You understand? And when I say man, that includes the woman. I'm just saying like that. I don't want you women to think that you excluded. Newspaper articles. Chicago Sun-Times, March the 4th. You understand? They got nuke plant shelled. And Russia announces capture of key southern cities, ceasefires allowed in designated corridors. Again, and I got there a lie. You understand? They didn't bomb any nuclear site in the Ukraine. Russia didn't bomb. See, that's a bold lie. That's what I'm saying. This is why they don't want you to get the other view. So they shutting down these other avenues of information. If they weren't afraid, if this stuff was the truth that they putting out, why they shut down RT America? Why they shut down Chris Hedges' site? You understand? Don't want you to hear anything from Matt Taibbi or Glenn Greenwald or any of these others, you understand, that's looking at this thing, you understand, objectively. Like Chris Hedges said, you're on Democracy Now! And again, he was on Democracy Now! Here last week. Okay? And again, I'll give you these Democracy Now! Shows since I mentioned that. Chris Hedges was on Democracy Now! Friday the 1st, last Friday. And you should watch it because he was on there for about 20 minutes. And he said, when Amy Goodman brought to him, she said, well, you know, why would should America allow Russia, you know, to send you know, they propaganda? He said, well, hey, he said, if you're not afraid, if it's propaganda, why not let people hear? Let the people decide. Right? He said, why should they just be getting one side of it? What you afraid of? See, but just like they did back there with the Lusitania, just like they did in World War II, just like they did with Mossadegh in Iran, you understand, back there in 53, just like they did with Lumumba in 60-61 in the Congo, just like they did with Allende in Chile in 73, right? Just like they did with the Gulf of Tonkin back there, what was that, 64 with Vietnam? You understand what I mean? Lies, and more lies, right? This is what this country shells out, propaganda. So now they so afraid they don't want anybody to know about the biolabs that they had. It was, you know, had set up in the Ukraine. That Victoria Nuland, she let the cat out the bag here a few weeks ago. You understand? Up there, what she's around at, you know, White House, Victoria Nuland, right? She one of them neocons, right? You follow what I'm saying? You know, what they call themselves for a new American century. I forget what the name of it is now. It'll come to me later during the Q&A, right? But she one of them neocons. You know, what does it call itself for New American Century or something? You know, they come out of, the initial ones come out of University of Chicago. I talked about them in the past, right? You follow what I'm saying? And she one of them, Victoria Nuland. She let the cat out the bag a few weeks ago about the biolabs in the Ukraine. Then they came back, tried to sweep it up under the rug, tried to snub it out. You understand? Too late. See, and like I said, RT International here the other week. You understand? It was on a Wednesday. Matter of fact, it was last Wednesday, right? They had a thing. You understand about bioweapons and the truth. It was like 30 minutes long. I saw it. Okay. And you understand, they was running down about how they got all these biolabs they done set up in the Ukraine. You know, America, NATO, and sending stuff, pathogens over on the Russians. The Russians like, hey, and you understand, breaking agreements all the way back to 1990. You know, they made another agreement with them in 2014. They ain't kept none of that. Just like, you understand, exterminate all the brutes. What did Raoul Peck say? You understand, America made like, what, 80 treaties with the Native Americans here and the people of color here when they came here? Broke every one of them. Isn't that what Donald Trump did when he got in there with the JCPOA? Huh? The JCPOA was already set up during Barack Obama administration with Iran. He came in there and totally just broke it up. And pulled America out of it. Now they need oil so bad. The last I heard, Biden supposed to been talking with Iran, trying to seal up this JCPOA because they want to get oil from Iran. But more than likely what the Iranians told them, you got to, as they said in the past, you got to take off all these sanctions and give us this $7 billion of our money that you've been holding for years. Okay? That's what you got to do. Then I read where they supposedly went over there and then they was talking with Maduro. That was real quick, real small window. They was supposed to be talking to Maduro. Well, you know what Maduro told them over in Venezuela, because Venezuela got the best oil and the most oil on the planet, from what I understand. And the best oil that leaves the least amount of refinement. And so what more than likely Maduro told them? Hey, you got to lift up all these sanctions and you got to give us this 400 and some tons of gold that you hold in ours that you won't give it to us. Then we can talk. I haven't heard any more about that. Right? See, because again, Russia and China, they got investments over in Venezuela. You follow what I'm saying? That's more than likely why America, that's what Trump wanted to do. That's more than likely why America ain't attacked them yet. And might not attack them. You understand what I'm saying? Because now this is war. This is war. Make no mistake about it. This war is going on. It just hasn't reached to the ultimate nuclear war yet, but that's coming. But as we said before, it cannot be nuclear war until Yah is established in Jerusalem, his temple built, them sacrifices on, and the second and last gathering has taken place. See? And again, you go over there to Jeremiah chapter 50-51, and he tell you, there's a rumor going to come into the land after 1 year, a rumor going to come into the land the second year, and then in the third year, between like the second and the third year, that's when you're going to get the nuclear war. And this country going to start it. And again, this country has been, you understand? What does it say in Jeremiah 50-51? They're going to be against this country round about. Aren't we starting to see this formulate? Who have told you from the beginning? Okay? Didn't I just read that in 41? Yeshua Yah has told us. But who understands prophecy? Who understands the word of Yah? Those of us who have totally turned to Yah again with all our heart, all our soul, and totally in submission to Yah's statutes, laws, orders, judgments, commandments, and precepts. This is why Yah again has set up this move. This is why he has brought us all these years, preparing us for the time to come. So that when these elite come and bow down before us, when they come to bring Yah's way to him and his anointing and consecration in the sight of everybody on the face of this earth, we don't get our chest stuck out. We don't get no arrogance and haughty and egotistical mindset. Because we know this is all from Yah, about Yah. For Yah, about Yah. That's who this is for. That's who this is about. 36:22, Ezekiel, for his holy name's sake. We glory in his glory when he gets all what's due him, in recognition and submission and commitment by these nations of the earth, the people of the earth who are going to submit and commit. Now, the ones who don't. Okay? Because Yah's already said what's going to happen to you. Now, and again, democracy now, Friday, April the 1st, last Friday, you watch it. The last 20 minutes, Chris Hedges is on there running this down. And when Amy Goodman says to him, well, should they allow Russian stuff? He said, why not? He said, in other words, what they're afraid of. He said, isn't that better than just getting one side of it? Because again, as I pointed out with the Lusitania, as I pointed out, you understand, with Pearl Harbor, as I pointed out, you understand, with Mossadegh, with Lumumba, with Allende, with the Gulf of Tonkin, the so-called Viet Cong, that never happened. You understand what I mean? They don't do anything but lie and deceive us. Again, what I just pointed out again, Raoul Peck, exterminate all the Bruce. They made 80 treaties with the Native Americans and the people of color here when they came here and broke every last one of them. Lies, 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 and more lies and deception. So now you mean to tell me all of a sudden now they telling us the truth about the Ukraine? What's really going on? About the pandemic? What that's really about? Because all they're trying to do is hide the collapse, of the dollar and of this economy, of this, you understand, economic system that they set up with the Bretton Woods back in 44, 45. That's what they're trying to hide. The dollar has lost its reserve, you understand, status. Like I said, the SDRs is the reserve currency now. And now, like Putin done told them, you want some oil, some gas from here, you got to pay us in rubles, right? And China doing this. Saudi Arabia, they done gone over, they starting to take yuans for their oil. Because again, Saudi ain't pumping no oil, they got stored oil. Oh, you understand what I mean? Now, I don't know how much stored oil they got, but that's what they got. Now, they got a lot of natural gas. That's why they trying to build that pipeline. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they was on Bashir's side, right? Because he wasn't allowing the pipeline to come through Syria. You follow me? Because he's lying with the Russians. You see how all this fall into place, how this being seen and understood? So now they scrambling over here because the dollar collapsing. You gonna have more and more nations. Hey, I don't want that funny paper. Now, you follow me? I don't want that. You got to bring me something tangible. You got to bring me some gold, some silver, something that's tangible, because I don't want that funny paper that you running off. Okay? Now, the other democracy now shows is not but two of them for March, right? March the 21st, right? They got Alfred McCoy on there. You understand? We got a book here by Alfred McCoy, The Politics of Heroin. Okay? You understand? Watch that. Alfred McCoy. Listen to what he's running down. And that was the 21st of March. And then on the 28th of March, okay, they got a bunch of double talk on the Ukraine, but they also talk about what just happened over in Jamaica when Prince William went over there. Him and Kate. Now check that out. That's it. Because the rest of the democracy now, when you turn it on, every time they come on, they talk mostly about these lies and deception about the Ukraine. See? Just like most of you look at the news here, that's basically what they talk about. Lies and deception about the Ukraine. You know, propaganda. All right? Chicago Tribune, March the 4th. Pelosi supports banning oil imports from Russia. And again, this is hurting America and Western Europe. These countries. That's why you see in India, they not going along with it. I looked this morning on Bloomberg, America's threatening India. Because India is still getting oil from Russia, and they dealing with China. And they definitely dealing with Russia. And now America was threatening them this morning. Talking about it, we gonna remember, we gonna hold you accountable. You know, we gonna put sanctions on you pretty soon. Whole world gonna be sanctioned. Cause when you look at a world map, it's a very small amount of nations in the world that's going along supposedly right now with America on these sanctions. Most of the world, you know, like 75% of the world, 80% of the world is dealing with Russia and China. They ain't going along, you understand, and India. They ain't going along with these sanctions. Okay? So again, I put to you, what did y'all say over there in Jeremiah 50:51? They going to be against this daughter of Babylon roundabout. Even his mama is going to, you understand, be confounded. That's the UK. That's Britain. Now, and they got food shortages over in Britain. Stuff is high right now. They was talking about it the other night. You understand? I'm watching. They said the food and oil and energy over there in Britain is going through the roof. Now, you follow me? That's why Germany, they're going to have to capitulate. Germany, because you understand, one of their ministers was saying, hey, you understand, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of people out of work if we go along with these sanctions on Russia. You understand? Because Germany get, you know, they get a lot of oil and gas, You understand? And foodstuffs from Russia. Now, okay? Telling you, boy, this ain't no joke. And again, at this article, Pelosi talking about she supports banning oil imports from Russia. I circled the last paragraph, said Biden announced Tuesday that he is releasing 30 million barrels of oil from the U.S. strategic reserve, part of a world effort to ease oil supplies amid the Ukraine war, right? Now, again, where they go? Now, that was 30 million then, but it ended up being 180 million barrels. It's supposed to last 6 months, 1 million barrels a day, right? It's supposed to take it to the end of September. But like they said, where's America gonna replace this from? How they gonna replace it? And again, it just hit me. Cause I had to ask my Isha, cause I couldn't, some stuff, my mind got stuff. But it's over here in chapter 6, Exodus, where you understand they try to taint the lineage of Aharon and Moshe by saying their father married his aunt. He took his aunt to wife. That's a bunch of garbage. He ain't take his wife because that's incest. You just go to Leviticus 18. See, like I said, that would have been like Aharon and Moshe's father having intercourse, a perversion with his grandfather. You understand what I'm saying? See, you're not supposed to deal with your near kinsmen, huh? See, so again, right, verse 16, right? These are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generation: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari, right? And the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimei, according to their families, and the sons of Kohath, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, Uzziel, and the years of the life of Kohath were 133 years. And the sons of Merari, Malim, Bushe, these are the families of Levi according to their generations. And Amram took him Yoshebed, his father's sister. I got it underlined. I just didn't see it. Sometimes, got so much going on in my head, right? But this is chapter 6, verse 20. And Amram took him Yoshebed, his father's sister, to wife. Well, we know that ain't true. That's, you understand? That's incest. You cannot deal with your near kinsman. Like, you understand? Like talking to Jacoby, they said that'd have been like, you understand? Again, you follow me? Abraham, that'd have been like if that was happening, he having sex with his father's father, right? Because that's his father's daughter, near kinsman. You can't do that. That's incest. So we know that's a lie. See, but Esau has, suddenly stuck this stuff in here. You understand? That's why we use the law on the book, and we can see something wrong. Just like we brought last session about Dawid. Something wrong there. I mean, again, you understand? In regards to the law, right? If Bathsheba is betrothed to Uriah, the Hittite, right? If she's betrothed, he ain't had to have conjugal relationships with her yet, but if she's betrothed to him, right, according to the law, she was supposed to die. We know she didn't. Y'all don't change. Malachi 3:6. So something's amiss there. See? Something's amiss there. And more likely than not, the illuminated Edomite trying to show you that Yah does change, but we know he doesn't. See, there are no exceptions. What did Yah say? You understand? Again, he's very merciful, right? But by no means clearing the guilty. Okay? When you sin, you got the answer. He gonna put something on you, and it's according to the law. It is to what degree is what you do, what you did when you sinned. Now, see. Now, I tell you, this is something else. Okay, so again, okay, I read that, right? All right, now, Chicago Tribune, March the 4th, right? Now check this. Purdue Pharma states agreed to new opioid deal. right? Sackler family kicks in more money as settlement could top 10 billion over time. You understand what I'm saying? So now they upped it from 5 point something billion, what I saw in the past, to now is you understand, it could be over 10 billion. See, they keep adding money to the pot to try to, buy their way out. These sacklers, you understand, Edomite families selling drugs, right? Trying to buy their way out. Same way they do us on a smaller scale. I've seen it in action. You understand what I'm saying? You get busted selling drugs, heroin or marijuana or cocaine or something, you understand what I mean? And then, next thing they know, they want to find out how much money you got. So they start, putting the drain on you. You go get one of them high-powered lawyers, you understand? And then they go talk to them. They send them back. Oh, man, they talk about locking you up for 60 years over, and I might be able to talk to them if you come up with $4 million. Yeah, they trying to see how much money you got. You like, man, I ain't got no 4 million. You know what I mean? Or if you got 4 million, and then you like, okay, I can pay that. Like Tony Montana in Scarface. He kept upping. He started low, but he kept up and trying to get out of that case that they put on him. You see what I'm saying? See? I mean, this is the same old thing. So now the Sacklers, they've been busted out in the sight of the people. So first they was offering 5 point something million, if I remember correctly, right? So now they say they boosted it as much as 6 billion. So now it could go over 10 billion, what they offering to come up from out of this. See? You know what I'm saying? So now it ain't certain, it ain't actually been agreed upon yet, but they done upped it to over $10 billion. So like I said, it was 5.6 billion. Now they didn't put another 6, so that's like, you understand, around 11 billion, or more. So they, they over 10 billion. So they say we'll pay this then, because again, how much money they made? 100 billion, 200 billion over the years selling these drugs. You know what I mean? Oxycontin and oxycodone. Again, Esau at work, right? Also weaponizing sanctions, and that's what America's trying to do, weaponize these sanctions, just like they weaponized the dollar through the years, where they made the dollar, you understand, you don't do what America want, they put sanctions on you and cut you off from the SWIFT, where you couldn't use the dollar, where for many years they had it where you couldn't buy oil unless you used the dollar. See, it's not that way now. You understand? Like I say, the Saudis now starting to take the yuan, the renminbi, for oil. Okay? Russia said if you want oil from them, you understand, if you are enemy nation, you got to use the ruble. You follow me? The dollar is not the world, you understand, world reserve currency anymore. It's the knocked off its top dog perch. See? You follow me? See, U.S. allies take aim at Russia's economy after Putin's attack of Ukraine, and it's working. That's what they tell you, it's working. There's a bunch of that's a lie. Okay? Okay? You understand? How can it be working, this inflation? Food and energy getting high, everything else getting higher and higher. And the more this goes on, the more all of you going to see this. We've been talking about this for years. That's why we was telling people, get silver, get gold, get silver. Not because it's your salvation. It just makes sense, right? That's tangible. You understand? They trying to manipulate them still, but like I said in the past, they can only do so much manipulating. Stuff gets so bad that silver and gold going up. It's got to, because these dollars worth less and less. See, and then you get everybody, who get more knowledge trying to run and get silver and gold. But it's only so much silver and gold can be had. People start coming out of that paper, silver and gold. They want the real deal. See, this is where it's headed. And matter of fact, that's where it is, right? Also, Amazon to close all its bookstores. You hear that? Amazon closing all its bookstores. Now, Amazon, that's Bezos, the Edomite, right? Say Amazon is closing all of its brick and mortar bookstores, as well as 4-star shops and pop-up locations, as the online retail behemoth reworks its physical footprint. Yeah, right. Trying to cut people off from accessing knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? Again, what's the principal thing? Wisdom, which is the ability to apply what you know. But what did Solomon say? So therefore get wisdom, but with all that getting, get understanding, get knowledge, right? So now Esau, he's going to shut up the bookstores, right? As he churns out this day-to-day propaganda that we supposed to believe, right? When he been lying, you understand, all the way back to the all the way back to the creation of Christianity and before, when they created Hasidism. That was a lie. You understand? When they created Serapism back there with Ptolemy, you understand, Soda, back in 320s. Serapism, you know they created that garbage too. You understand what I'm saying? Lies, lies, and more lies, right? Just like what Haman, the Amalekite Edomite, said in the book of Hadassah, right? When he said to Xerxes Ahasuerus, you got some people here who ain't worth nothing. They ain't about, you know, just like the lies when him and Ishmael sent that lie to Cyrus, claiming that Zerubbabel, and then you understand, YHWH the priest was doing something they wasn't doing, right? The lying letter, right? You follow me? Been lying. That's all they do is lie, huh? Chicago Tribune, March the 4th. This is out of the UN. Europe in water crisis as world warming wrecks crops. You hear that? Didn't y'all say you're going to dry up the pools of water over there in 42 Yeshaya? Here it is. Europe in water crisis as world warming wrecks crops. See, so again, Yah is salvation. And Yah alone. Okay? Again, Chicago Tribune, March the 8th. New Zealand confronts a reckoning. Omicron takes hold in a nation that has bowed to pressures. Okay, because you know they've been fighting it over there in New Zealand. Now, are we supposed to believe this? That the New Zealanders have bowed to the pressures of taking the shot? Because they was rebelling against that. Okay? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see this here? Hands off our freedoms and right. And that's the New Zealanders. Okay? That's what the New Zealanders was. You see that banner, how big it is. They was fighting. Now they claiming that Omicron that made them bow. You understand? In other words, like they taking the shot. I don't believe that for 1 second. Said people protest vaccine mandates last month in Auckland, New Zealand. The country is facing its most severe outbreak of the pandemic. Now again, you know, we supposed to believe that? Also, states scramble to use stockpiles of vaccine. Millions of doses that expired have already been tossed. So now, I thought so many people, everybody was taking the shot. So they got all these millions of vaccine that got old, you understand, deteriorated. They, you know, so they dumping them, right? But again, the taxpayers' dollars is paying for that too. You follow me? Cause Fossey, you understand what I'm saying? And these vaccine, you know, representatives, Walensky, all them talking about you should take the shot. They all getting money. You understand what I mean? It's just a money go round. They getting kickbacks. They getting money. They got investments into these, you know, drug companies, Pfizer and J&J and Moderna. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And I have no doubt they had stock in Purdue Pharma with the Oxycontin and the Oxycodone too. They making money from that when that was selling. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a rigged game. You follow me? A rigged game. Chicago Tribune, March the 8th. Gas cost a sore subject, right? Aurora area residents talk of driving less to help their pocketbooks, okay? Again, this is like a play on words. Gas cost sore subject, you know, S-O-A-R. You know what I mean? It's soaring, but it's a sore subject too, you know, like, you understand, S-O-R is like a sore too. You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay, because they show this woman filling up her tank. Gas is $4.19 a gallon. Okay, you understand what I mean? I'm telling you, man. She said, said this woman here, she had the same child in Illinois. She said Patty Schubert fills her car with gas Thursday at St. Charles. She said it would normally take $29 to $32 to fill up her car, and now it costs $45. All right, you understand? So that's anywhere from $16 to $13 more a fill up. And again, you understand that you know that's telling over a period of time because you got less dollars to fool with. You know what I mean? All of that hits home over a period of time, right? Gas prices top $4.06 amid war in Ukraine. $4.06 a gallon. That's the average. You understand? Because people have called me in other states telling me, yeah, you that gas, man. Woo! Gas is hitting us. Yeah, I know. Same here in Chicago. Okay? You understand? Chicago Tribune, March the 9th. U.S. banning imports of Russian oil, right? They cutting off their nose to spite their face. That's how stupid they are. But again, didn't y'all say you're going to take all the wisdom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So now, any people that's following Esau, they you understand? They don't have any wisdom and understanding either. I don't care what their nationality is. You follow what I'm saying? Nah. And that's why they don't want to hear the alternative view. That's why they, you understand, trying to stop all alternative view. You understand that people go on the internet and get, you know, Facebook, YouTube, well, Facebook too, you know what I mean, and whatnot. They're shutting down, trying to ban. And you turn on the news and you get nothing but a barrage of propaganda. That's all you get. March the 10th, Chicago Tribune. Maryland man with transplanted pig heart dies after 2 months. All right. So the man had the pig heart put in. He 2 months he dead. Now, you know, they trying to play like they Yah, but they not. It never will be. Chicago Tribune, March the 10th. U.S. reverses its findings on pesticides danger to wildlife. Right? Because these pesticides is hurting the wildlife. And hurting, you understand, the human life too. Okay? Simple as that. You follow what I'm saying? How you gonna spray, you understand, all these pesticides that's killing bugs, killing the wildlife, it is not gonna hurt, you know, humans too. We breathing that stuff and stuff's on the food, we eating it too. You follow what I'm saying? That's why it's so imperative to be plugged into Yah's menu, the cleansing menu. Yeah, we still getting some of it, but we got a cleansing menu. We're not eating these things that are unclean, that store up inside of us and can't be digested and throw off. You understand the waste, right? Where it lodges up in you. You follow what I'm saying? And metastasizes and creates maggots that eat up your inside. That's the cancer, right? I tell you, man, this economical, ecological, environmental collapse. Okay? And only Yah can save us. Only Yah can save, you know, his earth that he's created. Chicago Tribune, March the 10th. Biden opens door for Fed to explore a digital dollar. You hear that? I told you it was coming. Now here it is. Executive order directs agencies to weigh risk gains of a U.S. cryptocurrency. Now, what I've seen is that Jerome Powell over the Fed, right? He said one of their main concerns with the crypto money, the crypto dollar, is to keep people with privacy. Okay? Because he done heard, you know, people talking about that. You understand? You won't have any privacy with the cryptocurrency. So again, when we was listening to one of the shows we listened to here the other week, they like, yeah, they talk about, you understand, Jerome Powell saying the people, they want to make sure that the people have privacy. Yeah, but they gonna know what everybody, that's the whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? They gonna know how much crypto, the government, they gonna know. You understand what I mean? Also, BMW recalling older cars. BMW is recalling more than 917,000 older cars and SUVs in the U.S., most for a third time. You hear that? For a third time. All right? Most of them for a third time. All right? To fix a problem that can cause engine compartment fires. You understand what I mean? And it says it covers many 3 Series, 5 Series, I-Series, X5, X3, and Z4 vehicles from 2006 through 2013. Now, this is the third recall. Almost 1 million vehicles soared on the chariots. And that's supposed to be BMW, the ultimate driving machine. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they bill it. Chicago Tribune, March the 10th. Attack deepens Mideast divisions. Nations struggling to stay neutral, but several favor Putin. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? Because the Edomites in the land, you know what I mean? They tried to you understand, sit on the fence. Because they were supposed to be going and be the intercessor between Putin and the Ukraine. Because again, Zelensky an Edomite. You understand? And for what I understand, a lot of those Ukrainian soldiers is the Edomites. And they like Nazis. They calling them Nazis over there. When you look at the other view, that's why America trying to shut all that down. He don't want the people here to get that. You understand? Here, a few weeks back, I'm looking at Kevin Barrett out of Wisconsin. He got this Russian here. He did this like a 30-minute piece with this Russian that used to live here in America. His name is Orly Packin or something like that. You know, he looked like he's maybe around 50. You understand? Give or take. Got a beard, salt and pepper beard, more black than white. And Kevin Barrett was talking to him. So now this guy named Orly, whatever it is, or something, Orly, he's back over there. But he done left here, went over in Russia, right? So Kevin Barrett was talking. They was talking about this Ukrainian thing. And so Kevin Barrett said, yeah, you know, you still telling people they need to leave America? And this Orly guy, he said, no. He said, I stopped doing that. He said, because, you know, like people, when I was telling them back when, they look at me like I was crazy. He says, well, I stopped telling them they need to leave America. And then Kevin Barrett said, you know what, though? He said, I've been thinking about what you've been saying all these years. He said, I'm thinking about leaving him myself. Okay? Now, when I say that, when I heard that, you know where my mind went. Jeremiah chapter 51. Let every man flee back into his own country. We would have healed Babylon, but she can't be healed. Right? And that's what Kevin Barrett evidently is seeing now. Because that's why he brought it to this guy. The old guy Orly said, no, he said, I stopped saying, because, you know, you tell people that, he said, look at you like you're crazy. You understand what I mean? So he left. He went on back to Russia. So now Kevin Barrett is like, he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about leaving him myself. I'm thinking about leaving. Now, you understand? Let every man flee back into his own country. Because this bad boy is toast. It's just living it out now. You understand what I'm saying? Because it ain't going to get any better here in America. Haven't I been saying that? Haven't we been saying that here, y'all, right? It ain't going to get no better. It's just going to get worse. Now, again, Chicago Tribune, March 11th. Ryan Coogler was mistaken for a robber by an Atlanta bank employee in January. Now, you know, Ryan Coogler is the one that, you know, produced directed the Black Panther movie. Ryan Coogler. This is him here. There he is, right? So now, you might have heard about it, or if you didn't, he went to get like around $12,000 cash out of one of these Atlanta banks, right? And he pulled up in front of the bank, Bank of America, right? He pulled up in front of the bank in a Lexus SUV, black, you know he got the windows, you know, tinted, and he got his girlfriend and another guy in the SUV waiting for him. So he goes and now he got his mask on, you know, cause of the pandemic, right? So he go up into the bank and he didn't want to say it out loud, he said, because he didn't want people to hear how much money he was drawing out. So he gave the teller a note, you know, said, give me $12,000 cash, you know what I mean, and keep it quiet because I don't want to draw attention to myself. Now, this was a sister the way it sounds, another Israelite, she pregnant. She sitting there, she immediately gets scared. She take it like he's trying to rob the bank. So she reached up under the thing, pushed the button, right? And next thing you know, here comes the Atlanta police coming through the door, put him on the floor, arrested him and everything. He like, what's up? He like, I'm Ryan Coogler. I'm director of the Black, you know what I mean? And finally, you know, they look at his ID and everything and whatnot. And so they know the teller, she done panicked, right? She got panicky, right? So they realize who he is and everything, check him out and everything, check the people out and sitting out in front in the black, Lexus SUV. So he eventually got the 12 grand, but he like, man, cause they come in with their guns drawn. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? See, so again, he Ryan Coogler, he don't know he Israel. You understand what I'm saying? See? And I tell you, boy, that curse, you can't outrun it, you can't hide from it. Chicago Tribune, March 11th. U.S. inflation rate jumps to highest level since 1982. 40 years, inflation is on the roll. Now, they say here 7.9% rise, fueled by increase in food, gas, housing costs. Didn't I just mention those? And it's expected to worsen. And again, it's going to worsen. Because they say 7.9, and I've been hearing people say it's 15, 16, 17% already. Okay, I put it to you like this. I went into Whole Foods. I was telling Yada, you understand, yesterday. I went into Whole Foods yesterday, right? 3 avocados, 5 apples, $18.71. Okay? $18.71. Now, okay, Chicago Tribune, March the 9th, auto insurance rates rising sharply in Illinois. You hear that? Auto insurance rates rising sharply in Illinois. If they being raised here, they raising them every other state, right? More drivers hit the road, repair costs skyrocket. You need to get a vehicle fixed now, the cost gonna be high. Okay? Also, McDonald's shutting all 850 restaurants in Russia. Starbucks, Coca-Cola, General Electric also say they'll pause operations there. Well, again, you think the Russians is hurt because they don't have Mickey D's in Russia anymore? That's a good thing, right? Same thing with Starbucks and Coca-Cola. They didn't need that garbage there in the first place. You understand? Bye. See you later. You understand what I mean? Biden expected to issue cryptocurrency order. You hear that? Okay, President Joe Biden is expected to sign an executive order on cryptocurrency this week that will mark the first step toward regulating how digital currency is traded. Okay? You understand? That's where they're going. Didn't I read that in that Jacob the Rothschild communicated Henry Maycock? Right? The dollar has seen its day. Isn't that what Jacob the Rothschild said? They go into cryptocurrency. Because again, and again, Russia and China, they're not going to be dealing with any cryptocurrency. All right? Because they got their currency backed so much by gold. It ain't come out yet how much they got, but you know they got it back so much by gold, or they going to have it back so much by gold. Because again, Russians have said, you go buy oil or gas from us or anything, you got to deal in rubles if you're an enemy nation. So that means these America and these nations that sided up with America, they got to buy whatever they need from Russia. They got to use rubles to get it. So that means they got to change their currency into rubles, which is, again, is going to boost the strength of the ruble. Same thing, China doing the same thing. Cause you understand what I mean? You follow what I'm saying? That's why India, like I said, America's threatening India now. I saw that this morning on Bloomberg. They telling India, you better do what we want. Okay, India said, we don't care what y'all talking about. You understand? We got to go with what's going to benefit us. Okay? This ain't about you. All right? That's what they telling America, right? Chicago Tribune, March the 8th. Russia can't and shouldn't be kicked off the UN Security Council. Now, they was talking about this yesterday on the news. How America's still trying to get Russia kicked off the UN Security Council. You understand? Okay? And they got some others. I'm pretty sure the Edomites in the land talking that same stuff. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, Zelensky, the Edomite in Ukraine, he talking that. Edomite now. You got a lot of Edomites over there in Ukraine. And more likely than not, these are the ones call themselves Nazis, because that's who started that Nazism anyway. Illuminated Edomite with Hitler. You follow what I'm saying? They was behind all that. They financing all of that mess. You know, we didn't talk about that in the past, right? Uh, Chicago Sun-Tan, March the 13th. Ukraine invasion threatens world's breadbasket. Some prices surging, and that's a fact. Okay, because a lot of foodstuffs comes out to Ukraine. You know, Ukraine puts out like 75 to 90% of the sunflower oil. And the sunflower oil is used to make all your chips and cookies, things like that. So now you got a lot of these bakeries around here. They wonder where they gonna get the sunflower oil that they've been using to make the potato chips and the cookies and things of that nature. You know, you follow me? I tell you, boy, this thing is so prices is gonna soar, going up, 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 up. Now, because this is a nice size article, right? Because they're talking about the different areas, like I say, the southern part of the earth, over in Africa and Pakistan, places like that, Indonesia, you know what I mean? Says Ukraine and Russia also combine for 75% of the world's sunflower oil. See, I got that circle, right? Accounting for 10% of all cooking oils. Hear that? Says in European Union nations, farmers are concerned about rising costs for livestock feed. Hear that? That's in European Union nations, right? Ukraine supplies the EU with just under 60% of its corn and nearly half of a key component in the grains needed to feed livestock. Russia, which provides the EU with 40% of its natural gas needs, is similarly a major supplier of fertilizer, wheat, and other staples. Spain is feeling the pinch in sunflower oil, which supermarkets are rationing, and grains for all important breeding industry. Those imported grains go to feed 55 million pigs, right? Says this person named Bernice, Yame Bernice, a 58-year-old breeder with 1,200 swine on his farm in northeast Spain, fears the war will further increase the difficulties his business is facing because of climate change and drought. Hear that? Why y'all drying up the water, right? Since October, Spanish pork products have been taking a loss from high costs. Those costs are driven by China stockpiling feed for its pigs as it claws its way out of a devastating outbreak of African swine fever, right? Shouldn't be no pig no way, right? But nevertheless, right? In only the first 2 days of Russia's assault on Ukraine, the price of grain for animal feed jumped 10% on the open market in Spain. So we are facing a moment of very elevated cost, and we don't know what lies ahead. This Bernard said, this is another cost of waging a war in the 21st century. Okay? Tell you, this is no joke. This is some serious stuff here. You understand what I'm saying? It's only going to get worse. Again, Chicago Sun-Tan, March the 14th. Average U.S. gas price rises 22% in 2 weeks to record 4.43 cents. $4.43. 22% in 2 weeks. Okay? Now, that's inflation. All right? Because I just seen gas around here $6 for premium. Okay? I'm not kidding. You understand? Brother called me one day. He like, I went in, he left a message. He like, yo, he said, I'm in here at the gas station, man. He said the premium $5.29 a gallon. He like, whoo. Sorry. He said, I talk to you later, big bro. Okay, I'm telling you, this ain't no joke, right? Chicago Tribune, March the 14th, right? Now, check this out. Stephen Maduga, 12, the son of a farmer, tries to chase away a swarm of locusts on his family's farm as he returns home from school in Elburgon, Kenya. Now look at this. Look at all them locusts. He in the midst of a storm of locusts, right? They eating up everything. Okay? Now check this out. It says tragedies of climate change. In recent weeks, I have become concerned that I am becoming inured to the growing litany of climate disasters and suffering both here at home and across the world. We all have many reasons to be alarmed these days, but we must keep moving ahead on climate action in Congress. In the U.S., we are facing worsening drought in one of our leading regions of food production and other bad news. But recently I was taken aback by a photo in the Tribune of a farmer in Kenya. That's the one I just showed you, right? Frantically and ineffectually attempting to chase away a swarm of locusts attacking his crop. Okay, and again, the title of that article, he says, was Effects from Climate Change to Worsen in Africa. This is out of the UN. So much as we see evidence ourselves of the changing climate impacts close to home, the impacts in other areas such as Africa are more extreme and more tragic. Okay, so Africa has contributed relatively little to greenhouse emissions. Again, when they say greenhouse, just picture a greenhouse. That's the earth. It's got a dome over it. And these gases, toxic gases, are trapped up under the dome. That's the greenhouse effect. But they tell you they going up in outer space, right? Bunch of nonsense. You see how their lies are unraveling when you look at it logically, sensibly? Again, that's why they're trying to shut off all avenues of news coming from outside the country and even inside the country. You follow it with people who see the truth about what's really going on with this Ukrainian situation. And again, with dollar hegemony eroding day by day. You follow me? And again, the nation's moving away from, you understand, America. You follow me? And the dollar. See, which again, all prophecy being fulfilled. They're going to be against the daughter of Babylon around about, right? Just like I just read you sword on the chariots. Now, third recall on almost 1 million BMW vehicles. The third recall, not the first, not the second, but the third, right? So they driving around with an engine that can catch fire, okay? And you know some have caught fire, okay? It says Africa has contributed relatively little to greenhouse emissions, yet the recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report has predicted Saharan flooding, heat, and drought increasing. Africa already struggles with poverty and food shortages, and farmers and fishermen are facing more challenging conditions with each passing year. Crop yields are down, and added to this are conflicts, instability, and economic crisis. If warming continues, children in particular will suffer from severe malnutrition, stunted growth, and stunted cognitive development. The report on Africa goes on to speak of loss of ice cover on mountains, impacts on wildlife, and loss of species. Economic sectors such as tourism, transportation, and energy will be harmed. An entire continent with 17% of world population will have its future undermined and put at risk. It is incumbent on the developed world to take leadership and responsibility for stabilizing the climate to protect all parts of the world, such as Africa, the Pacific Islands, which are at the mercy of world climate change that has largely been caused by the developed world. Okay? See, again, they can't save them. Do you follow me? Only Yah can save them. Simple as that. So we got to be getting close, as it says at the back end of Yeshaya chapter 61, Yah causing righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. But before that can happen, right, the Edomites in Jerusalem and Israel have to be run out into their land and burned up, made like the burnings of lime. Right? Again, Yeshaya 33:12, Yeshaya chapter 34, and the one chapter by. Right? That's got to happen before righteousness and praise can spring forth before all the nations. Right? Chicago Sun Time, March the 18th. Daylight saving time may not be right time for America. You know, because they talking about next year, right? In November, keeping it from, when it's supposed to go back, fall back, just keeping it daylight saving time. When they change it next what is it, next March in 2023 to daylight saving time, keeping it like that. But this article is telling you, that that's not good. So don't feel bad if you are grabbing an extra cup of coffee or yawning as you read this. This editorial is not that boring. You may be tired because it can take up to a week for our bodies to adjust after setting our clocks 1 hour ahead for daylight saving time. And isn't this prophesied in Daniel, chapter 7, that this little horn, when it popped up, again, Augustus Caesar Octavian, right? It started with him during his tenure, right? His wife. They started changing, time and laws. Daniel chapter 7, right? And so they still fooling with the time. Because I know it was the Illuminati Edomite that put that to him back then. They were advising him back then. See, and again, they've been, doing these changes coming up through time. Illuminati Edomite, right? Okay, now they say extra daylight hours would mean less seasonal depression, extended time outdoors, and more money for businesses. Supporters of the bill have argued. Scientists also agree that a fixed year-round time is greatly needed. The abrupt change from standard to daylight saving time has been tied to the increased risk of heart attacks, mood disorders, car crashes, data has shown. But it is standard time, not daylight saving time, that health experts have been advocating for as a lasting solution. And that's standard, Eastern Standard Time, that we just left, right, last month, right? Eastern Standard Time, right? And again, so that's what scientists have been advocating now, right? You follow me? As the lasting solution. Okay, should I say, not saying health experts, right? Again, it says the Darien-based American Academy of Sleep Medicine issued a statement following the Senate vote, reiterating its 2020 stance that current evidence best supports the adoption of year-round standard time, not daylight saving time, right? Which aligns best with human circadian biology and provides distinct benefits for public health and safety. Okay, in other words, Eastern Standard Time, Yah's time, not man's messing with stuff. Said 43% of Americans also favor staying on standard time year-round, while 32% would prefer to stay on daylight savings time. Okay, so you got more here in America that want standard, Eastern Standard Time, not daylight savings time, right? Okay, so it says House members who have yet to vote on the bill shouldn't act as hastily as their Senate counterparts. They should consider the research before making daylight saving time a full-time reality. They should also take time to remember the past. In light of the oil embargo, President Richard Nixon in 1973 signed a bill to put the country on daylight saving time for 2 years in order to save fuel. The law, with the backing of most Americans, went into effect January 1974. 10 months later, Congress amended the act and standard time was returned. Americans quickly soured on the concept of permanent daylight saving time when they realized that later sunsets also meant later sunrises. Morning commutes in the dark were bad enough for adults, but children were also forced to make their way to school in pitch black surroundings, sometimes leading to traffic accidents. Okay? If the Sunshine Protection Act becomes law, we'd be spared from the switching our clocks twice a year, but we might find ourselves turning back the hands of time in our response. In other words, going back to Eastern Standard Time. That's the best thing, because that's, that's Yah's thing, right? Again, Chicago Tribune, March the 18th. U.S. poultry farmers struggle amid surge of bird flu cases. And again, I look at it, they're inseminating these pathogens in these unclean things like pigs and chickens and turkeys, right? And the people are eating this garbage, and that's what makes them come down with these viruses. See? Okay? Because I got something in the you know, the stash here. It's going to tell you they did a you know, research over in the continent, so-called Africa, right? And they have come to understand. I'm gonna read it in a minute, but I'm gonna tell you this now. That, you understand? They see that the people who are dying from this virus are the people who take the shot. But I'll get to that. Okay? But now I look at these, you know, like I said, these poultry farmers are experiencing a surge in bird flu cases. But again, that's these chickens and turkeys. Hybrids, anyway. We ain't supposed to be eating these scavengers anyway. Right? And again, like I said, they, you understand, these Russians, they went, another reason they went on to Ukraine, because of all of the biolabs that, you know, the America, the NATO forces was setting up, basically America, in the Ukraine, right? Also, hydropower concerns high after Lake Powell's record low. Okay, hydropower concerns high after Lake Powell's record low. So this is a lake, the elevation of Lake Powell, okay, fell below a critical threshold Tuesday prior to Friday, March the 18th, okay, 2022, right? The drop marks another realization of the effects of climate change and mega drought, okay? See? And that's Lake Powell. See? Y'all drying up the water like he said he was going to do. Okay? Happening all over the earth. Right? Chicago Tribune, March the 17th. Analysis. Texas junks 13% of mail ballots under new rules. They changing the voting laws. Okay? See, these Republicans upset. They changing the voting laws in different states, right? Trying to keep, you understand, people voting for the Democrats. Like it means something anyway. Like I told this Israelite guy, you understand, here a couple of weeks ago. You understand, I'm at my manicure, and we talking, because I'm the first one she deal with it in the morning, right? And so we talking because she pushed my button. She's like, Israel, what's going on with this Ukraine? What's happening? So we was talking. I'm telling about, you understand, how they, you know, couped the duly elected Ukrainian president in 2014 when Obama was in there, put this Poroshenko in there, then brought this Edomite Zelensky in there in 2019. You understand what I mean? And what's that about? So right when she was almost finished with me, this other guy come in. I mean, you know, he Israelite, right? Looked like he weighed about 300, can't hardly walk. You understand? He coming there to get a pedicure. His legs all swollen, feet swollen. He got all this poison in his face and his feet. I can see it. So he started here. So he talking about how he's having problems, you understand, getting his phone turned on and whatnot, switched over from one, you know, to another, to AT&T. And I told him, I said, you too, because at that time I was having a problem with the phone here. You understand? But since then they got it straightened out. So we talking. And so when I get ready to leave, you know, I'm still talking to my manicurist. He in it. So then he like, yeah, he said this gas is high and everything. He said Trump should have kept Trump in there, right? So I said to him, I said, bro, it wouldn't have made any difference if Trump had stayed in there. All this still would have happened. And he said, all I know is my gas was cheaper when Trump was in there. This didn't happen till Biden got in. I knew I wasn't going to be able to, you know, you understand, penetrate that what was in his heart, that fat around his heart and that darkness between his ears. I left it alone. My manager, she looked at me when I like left it alone. She knew, she smiled, you know. I said, I see you in 2 weeks. I left on out. But the deal is, that's how people think. You know, he thinking if Trump had stayed in there, it'd have been better. It wasn't going to change. It wasn't going to be no different. You understand what I mean? And I did leave him with this. I said, bro, I said, you know, Democrats, Republicans, I said, like George Wallace said back there in the late 60s, it's not a dime's difference between a Republican and a Democrat. I left with that and I left out. Okay. Also, 2 dead, scores injured after strong quake rattles Japan. All right. Again, you understand? Earthquake, right? Japan. Chicago Tribune, March the 17th. Fed hikes key interest rate to fight surge in inflation, right? Central bank signals 6 additional increases are possible during 2022. And as soon as they hike the interest rate 0.25%, you hear me? 1/4, not even a full percent, not a half percent. 1/4, the bond market started to collapse, inverted. Okay? Bond market is collapsing. You follow me? They're between a rock and a hard place. All they can do is just keep, you understand, QE, quantitative easing, printing paper. And every time they keep printing paper, or the semblance of printing paper, is creating more inflation. There is no way they can get out from up under this. Because if they keep raising the interest rate, the bond market collapses, and eventually the stock market will collapse. And again, what do we see? All these pensions and money market funds and 401k, they getting collapsed. And again, my manicures, when I was in there the other week, you understand, right before that guy came in, I was telling you about, she told me, she said, yeah, when we was talking, because just her and me be in there, right? She told me, she said, Israel, she said, you know, my guy, you know, her boyfriend, you know what I mean? I met him a couple of times. She said, he done retired. She said, he get that 401k printout. She said, he just got it. She said, you understand? He done lost $60,000 in his 401k fund. I said, there you go. I was just telling, then she ran that to me. Okay? Now, you follow what I'm saying? Okay? Also, U.S. retail spending slows amid inflation. Because again, you understand, as this inflation, you know, ensues, you know, keeps going in exponentially, people, they don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? Because they're using it all on higher costs, right? Because people's wages is not going up exponentially. We know that, right? Also, BMW, VW warn of part shortages. Now, BMW did this recall, right? And now they got a part shortage. You see what I'm saying? Because of all these sanctions and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a mess. It's, you know, domino effect. Chicago Tribune, March the 17th, installing mortarless stone veneers. Now that's what they building these homes with, right? You see that? Installing mortarless stone veneer. See, it's not brick that's, you know, it's not brick that's this thick and this white, you know what I mean? It's just the veneer, like a little thin sheet. You understand? It looked like a brick, but it's just little old thin veneer. That's what they putting on these places. They charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for. Say, with the quality of workmanship dropping, maybe you should consider a stone veneer that has no mortar. You follow me? That's how they're making these places now, right? You can take a sledgehammer and literally bust through the wall if you hit it, you know, 5 or 6, 7 times. Okay? That's how they're making these places now. All right? And charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for them. Chicago Tribune, March the 19th. Biden gives warning to Z. That's the president of China. China is, you know, should China back Russia? See, they threatening China. Like I told you, they was threatening India this morning. They came across Bloomberg. So anybody sided with Russia, they threatened. We gonna get you. We gonna. Okay. You understand? President stresses implications and consequences, right? They threatening folk. That's America. You understand what I mean? The big bully, right? You follow me? Chicago Tribune, March the 19th. VW recalls over 246,000 SUVs over braking issue. Said faulty wiring harnesses can lead to other electrical problems. Now that's the VW. Volkswagen. Right? Saw it on the chariots, right? You remember chapter 50? Was that verse 36, 37 right in there? Right? Russian oil sale to India seen as blow to U.S. efforts. Because India say, hey, we getting oil. Okay? And they say Russia is selling oil and whatnot to India and giving them a deal. You know what I'm saying? So Indians store it up. They say, we don't care what you talk about, America. Okay? We need heat. We need energy. Okay? Now, Chicago Tribune, March the 20th. Okay? Now, here's an article that the Edomites put in here. You know, there is Edomite genocide slander. You deserve to know the truth. so the Edomites put an article in here. You understand what I mean? Talking about they gonna tell the people the truth, right? Instead of the slander that people is getting. Now you believe that? You see how big that article is, right? You see how long that is, right? You understand? The Edomites, right, trying to, control your mind, right? Of all the lies told by the Edomites enemies, you know what they gonna say? They call them, but we know they not Israel. They Edomites, right? The accusation of genocide is the greatest falsehood, unsupported by the world's definition and all facts. Why do they tell it? Talking about what they doing to our brothers and sisters, the so-called Palestinians, who are really Israel and don't know it, right? But they are doing genocide. Just like this morning on Democracy Now, if you watch it, the opening, when Amy Goodman is giving the headline, she showed a little beautiful Palestinian baby. Didn't look like it was no more maybe 5, 6 months old. Beautiful little girl. She had a hole in her heart. And her parents and the Palestinians in the Gaza bit was trying to get the Edomites to let them take her out of there and take her, I think over here to, the Western Europe, right? So she could get some medical care to deal with her heart that had a hole in it so she could live. The Edomites, that been going on for 5 months. Edomites stalling. I'm talking about we got to check it, get you clearance. For 5 months, the baby died. You watched Democracy Now! This morning. Beautiful little Palestinian baby. She just as beautiful as she wanted to be. Like I said, looked like she about 5, 6 months old. Got a hole in her heart. Parents trying to get leave, you understand, trying to get the Edomites to let them take her out and take her to, facilities where she could be taken care of. They stalled until the baby died. Now, but they want to say, you understand, that they ain't committing genocide. And again, this is Hosea chapter 9, verse 13. Huh? You understand, the descendants of, Samaria, right? You understand, the so-called Palestinians, right, in the land, right, delivering their children up to the murderer. Okay? Now, but the Edomites put this lie in here, talking about they being slandered. They not committing genocide. And they killing Palestinians every day over there. Huh? Shooting them down. Claiming that, they tried to run them down at the checkpoint. They got 1 million checkpoints. This is what, you understand, the Palestinians got to go through every day. But again, this is happening to the so-called Palestinians. Why? Because they in idolatry. Like the one that, I laid the flyer on. I went back a couple of weeks later. He didn't check it out. But like I said earlier, it's Jerusalem. Ain't no Yah. In other words, ain't no Jerusalem like I was saying. He made a point of saying Jerusalem. You follow what I'm saying? And because I asked him, I said, your fan. He said he was born in Jerusalem, right? And I said, okay, what? East Jerusalem? No, Jerusalem. He said Jerusalem. Like it's all one. I said, well, I can understand that. How you look at it, it's just one city. I can understand that. But again, as I was talking, I said, well, yeah, Jerusalem, he is Jerusalem. You understand what I mean? He can't hear it. I just let him alone. You understand what I mean? Because he got that fat around his heart. He got that darkness between his ears. And again, like I say, I'm not trying to convert, convince, recruit, or reform nobody. Okay? Again, because you can't. Right? Again, you remember chapter 17. Y'all deals with everybody because of what's in their heart. Simple as that. Right? Chicago Tribune, March the 20th. Holocaust survivors get help to flee from Ukraine. Yeah, that Edomites. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's many Edomites that's over in the Ukraine. And again, those are your Nazis. Right? Now, you understand? And again, they got here, down here at the bottom, this is out of Brussels, Putin not ready to meet with Zelensky for talks. Okay, so this is supposed to be out of Turkey, right? Turkey officials say. You understand? But again, Putin been trying to talk to him for years, and they ain't been listening. So now he like, you done move into this, and there ain't nothing to talk about. Because you ain't gonna do nothing but lie to me some more. You understand? I've been trying to talk to you for years. And y'all been, 1990, the Russians was talking, 1914, they lied to the Russians. So now I'm out of talk. You didn't move me to move against you. So now we're going to do what we got to do to protect ourselves. Now, ain't no more talk left. You understand? Because we know your game with the talk stuff. You just stall, and you keep, you understand, attacking us in your way. You understand? Chicago Tribune, just like they've been doing the so-called Palestinians for years. You understand? Stall, and steadily killing them. You understand? More and more every day, right? And again, with our so-called Palestinian brothers, as I directed earlier, all Israel to look at that Haggai chapter 1, I direct you to look at Haggai 1. Yah's afflicting you in every work of your hand. Why? Because his temple line weighs you in your idolatry. And that's the curse. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 67. Now, you keep staying in your idolatry, Yah's putting it on you. But at some point, he going to remove the Edomites. But even when he brings the Jerusalem movement and sets it in the midst of you and your brothers and sisters in Dimona, in Mitzpah, you understand? You going to get a chance to turn to Yah, right? You understand what I'm saying? That you might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yah, our righteousness, the King. You're going to get a chance. But you understand, after that, then, Chicago Tribune, March the 21st, Zelensky evokes Holocaust and appeal to the Edomites over in the land. Talking about this is the Holocaust, Now this Zelensky, president of the Ukraine, I hear he worth about $130 million. Where you get that from? He used to be a comedian on the TV over in the Ukraine. You follow me? A TV celebrity like Donald Trump, like Ronald Reagan. But I hear he worth about $120–30 million. So where he get that from? That's the kickback money. He got stashed, right? Chicago Sun-Times, March 22nd. Impact of calling Putin a war criminal. Biden on Wednesday labeled Putin a war criminal in the wake of the Ukraine civilian deaths. So they say that's a bad move. They tried to call it back. Biden said he wasn't rolling it back. But again, you understand, it's a bad move. Says Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on Thursday underscored Biden's assessment. It says Dowder said branding Putin a war criminal won't change many things in the beginning. In the immediate term, it does put Putin on notice that someone will be held accountable for what are crimes of war there. These are war crimes that are being committed. The WHO, World Health Organization, has just announced that 47 hospitals have been bombed. That's 47 war crimes individually. Those hospitals are full of people who need water, electricity, medical care that is now denied to them. Again, we supposed to believe this, right? This is not propaganda, right? Said this is not a war where military is fighting against military to take territory that is a siege, a sort of Middle East or Middle Age siege mentality in which a city is deprived of food, water, and electricity, in which humanitarian corridors are being bombed so that people cannot and will not flee. Again, you understand, the writer of this, which again is the editorial section of the Chicago Tribune, you understand, that's what the Edomites over in the land been doing to the so-called Palestinians for years, right? That's what they did to Lebanon when they went over there in 2006 regarding no man. They was bombing hospitals, school, everything, civilian, communities. Now, so who the war criminal? And from what I understand, this is propaganda. Putin, they ain't really doing that. They systematically taking control of the Ukraine. And if you listen to Scott Ritter, okay, who Esau basically banned here in America, you know, he was over that nuclear assessment situation with Iraq. He's one of the few, if not the only one back there, you understand, in early 2000s when they supposedly sent the nuclear watch group over there to check Iraq. When they came back and Colin Powell started talking about they got weapons of mass destruction, and W. Bush, you know, started talking about they got weapons of mass destruction. This Scott Ritter said that's a lie. He said that ain't true. He said Iraq don't have no weapons of mass destruction. So they immediately started to omit Scott Ritter. Well, Scott Ritter, we watched him the other day. He was being interviewed by Alex and Alexander, what I was talking to you about. They're you know, you can pull them up. YHWH watches them. They're on YouTube, I think. They're on YouTube, but they're out of Alexander's over in the UK. And Alex, the other one, he's in I don't know sure where he is. I think he's over there in Europe, right? But they had Scott Ritter on. But he's also was on Peter Lavelle here the other week prior, talking about the same thing. And he running down what's really going on in the Ukraine and how Russia is systematically, he said, you hearing all this propaganda out of the West about what Russia is doing and how they're doing, how they're being defeated in different fronts in the Ukraine. He said, that ain't even true. He said, Russia, he said, what they're doing is really genius. Okay. And he said also that, he said, if nothing else, he said, you know, we know Russia hasn't been the ultimate strategist in the past. He said, but what they doing now is genius and it's definitely professional. Okay. He said, but he runs it down. It's long. It's about an hour and a half. Scott Ritter, Alex and Alexander is talking to Scott Ritter. Hour and a half, about an hour and a half. He running it down. He's saying exactly what Russia's doing. He said it's really a genius what they're doing and how they're doing it. Because again, we heard before, you know, the Russians, they don't want to destroy the civilian property. They don't want to kill civilians. They're doing their best not to kill anybody they don't have to, or bomb anything they don't have to, because they don't want to destroy their infrastructure. Okay, see, who they're really attacking is these Nazis over there in the Ukraine, these Edomite Nazis, and that's what they being called. That's what they are. See, and basically, from what I understand, they're locked up in this city. What is it, Kiev? You understand? About 3 million or something supposed to be over there. But they saying the Russians is doing what they're doing is really smart, genius in the fact how they're conducting this situation, how they're shutting down and putting, you understand, the Ukraine and under siege and shutting down these corridors where they can't, once they out of food, they can't get any more. They're going to make them submit. You follow what I'm saying? And they doing it systematically. Like I say, Scott Ritter, you need to hear what he's running it down. See, and he laying it out, and he ain't the only one, but he's real good how he lays it out there. Also, ex-employee sues Google over alleged discrimination. Again, you know, Israelites saying they've been discriminated against with Google. Well, you know, what's new? You know what I mean? It's always we get discrimination. That's part of the curse too. March 22nd, Chicago Tribune, looking to change chief rabbi's will. Right? Looking to change chief rabbi's will. The Edomite rabbinate has a tight grip on much of daily life. Okay? Okay? Now, this is out of the land, out of Tel Aviv, over in Israel, right? And so the Edomites government has taken aim at the country's powerful religious establishment. Hear that? Religious establishment, Judaism, right? With a pair of reforms that would chip away at the tight grip of the country's chief rabbinate on many aspects of daily life. Okay? Now, this is a large article. I got a lot of stuff marked, but the essence of it is this Naphtali Bennett's government, they you understand, eroding the power of the rabbis. You understand what I mean? In that Judaism over there. Okay? Because the rabbis been getting away with you know, you understand, they don't have to go to war, they don't have to do different things, and they want, you know, the rabbis want everybody to shut down on the Sabbath day. But the Edomites, you know, for the bulk, they're not about that. So they are this Naphtali Bennett, you understand, he's attacking these rabbis, these Orthodox rabbi Edomites over there, and this you know, Judaism religion. You understand? He attacking it. Okay. And again, divided, you know, just like they've done everybody now, their situation is being divided. You know what I mean? They're being divided, right? Divide and conquer, right? You reap what you've sown, right? Chicago Tribune, March 22nd. This is out of the Fed. Rate hikes could come faster, be higher, right? Again, see, but the more they do this, the more, you know, collapse is coming, right? They keep raising interest rates, okay? Also, New York City see robot spot save, right? Fire department will soon have machine dogs available, but privacy concerns flare up. Now, I'm going to show you, these are the robot dogs. AI, see them? Okay? See? Robot dogs. And they say each one of those robot dogs cost like $75,000 each. They weigh like 70 pounds. And they cost like $75,000 a piece. Robotism. Okay? That's where it's going. More and more. It's already there to a great extent, going more and more and more. All right? Chicago Tribune, March 23rd. European Union moving toward joint purchase of natural gas. Huh? The EU leaders agreed in principle at a March 11 summit to phase out dependency on Russian gas, oil, and coal imports by what? 2027. That's 5 years away. All right. The EU imports 90% of the natural gas used to generate electricity, heat homes, and supply industry, with Russia supplying almost 40% of EU gas and a quarter of its oil. But you got some import way more than that. Okay, quite naturally, they're going to give you the lowest totals. But you got some of them nations import a lot more than 40%, of, you know, almost 90% of Finland. You understand what I'm saying? See? Also, GM recalls 740,000 SUVs over lights. Now, that's General Motors. Saw it on the vehicles, right? General Motors is recalling more than 740,000 small SUVs in the U.S. because the headlight beams can be too bright and cause glare for oncoming drivers, right? Also, Ford issues recall for 215,000 vehicles. Ford is recalling nearly 215,000 pickups and SUVs in the U.S. and Canada because brake fluid can leak. Again, sword on the chariots. Sword on the chariots. See, prophecy fulfilled, being fulfilled continually, all the time. Chicago Tribune, March 24th. Pow, digital currencies will need new regulations. Fed chair says new forms of money present risks to the U.S. financial system. All right. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said new forms of digital money, such as cryptocurrencies and stable coins, present risks to the U.S. financial system and will require new rules to protect consumers. All right. And again, one of the main things they're telling, you know, that they're going to protect people is they're going to be able to maintain their privacy, but not from them. You understand what I mean? And they're going to know all what you got. And that's all they want to know. They want to know. Okay. Also, Putin. This is from supposed to be out of Moscow. Unfriendly countries to pay in rubles, right? Again, I said that earlier. This is what Putin said. Unfriendly countries got to pay for gas, oil, whatever from Russia in rubles. So that means you got to, whatever currency you got to change it into rubles. Now, and that's at, you know, the dollar, say for instance, $1, you understand, used to be where represented, it took maybe a ruble and a half, or ruble and 3/4 of a ruble, you know, like a ruble and 3/4, like $1.75 ruble to make up a dollar. Now it's going to change from that. Now it's going to go to where you need maybe $2-3 to make up a ruble. You follow what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this is some real stuff. And the same thing with the UN as well, right? Okay, the dollar's crumbling right before our eyes. America's crumbling right before our eyes, right? Chicago Tribune, March the 24th. Louisiana digs out from devastating destruction left by tornadoes. And I know many of you probably heard about that, because at one point they said it was something like 70 tornadoes going all through the South there, you know what I'm saying? So Louisiana got hit by a lot of tornadoes, right? Again, Louisiana digs out from devastating destruction left by tornadoes. Okay. And Chicago Sun-Times, March 24th, up to 15,000 Russian troops have died in Ukraine, NATO says. Now, you believe that? I don't. Again, this is the kind of, you know, lies and deception they put out. Also, again, 4 Hail Marys. Tornadoes leave destruction in Louisiana and Texas. And this person said the tornado hit, and when it hit, they like went into their, I think it was like their basement of their home. And by the time they said 4 Hail Marys, right, their idol, right, of the New Testament, the tornado had wiped away their house, right? I tell you, boy, you understand? They just don't understand, right? Calling on their idol, the tornado wiped their house out. Chicago Tribune, March 25th. America, please show Russia you're the energy alpha now, right? Okay, this is out of the opinion from the Chicago Tribune. Two authors, right? 2 recent events have been incredibly troublesome, but have finally brought home the energy and climate crisis that are plaguing the planet. Russia unprovoked attack, see that? That's a lie, on Ukraine has exposed 2 follies. Europe's deep dependence on Russia for oil and natural gas, and U.S. imports of Russia oil. Okay? Now, you understand? You understand? Russia, America cutting the nose off to spite their face, because they get 30, 35, 40% of their oil from Russia. So now they got to tap their reserves. Well, the reserves is just that. You follow me? You tapping your savings, huh? Your savings ain't gonna last forever. You understand what I mean? You can see an end. You keep tapping your savings, you be out. Then where you gonna, you know, like I said on Bloomberg here last week, America is tapping their oil savings, but they haven't said how they gonna replace it. Now, also Europe is fueling Putin's war machine in the Ukraine. Said today the European Union contributed $1 billion toward Vladimir Putin's war machine. Tomorrow, the EU will contribute another $1 billion to the Kremlin's ongoing carnage of Ukrainian citizens, and $1 billion the next day too. The payments will continue to pour into Russia until we are assured, but hardly comforted, the EU cuts that amount by 1/3 by the end of 2022. By the year 2030, just 8 short years from now, the EU hopes to wean itself off of Russia energy sources. So that's how much money, $1 billion, like almost a day, or $1 billion a day, that the European nations, European Union nations, right, are spending on Russian energy, oil and gas. Now, you know, how can they stop that? Where they gonna fill up that void if they, you understand, stop paying the Russians? And again, they got to pay the Russians in rubles. You follow me? So they got to pay an exorbitant amount, because that's driving the price of the ruble up, right? Chicago Tribune, March 25th. Vaccine makers raking in big profits. No problem there, right? A nice size article, right? As people abandon masks and gather in bigger groups, it's important to remember that COVID-19 is still with us. A new form of the Omicron variant called BA.2 is causing another surge, though on a much smaller scale than previous variants. BA.2 is spreading so fast that it's expected to be the dominant form of the disease in Chicago by the end of this month. Fortunately, most Americans have ready access to vaccines that prevent the worst symptoms. Now, again, I just read you earlier where they said they throwing away a bunch of vaccines because, you understand, they had them stacked up. Nobody getting the shot, evidently, right? So they become impotent, so they got to throw them away, right? But they still being paid out of the tax dollars, though, right? Says these amazing pharmaceutical products created in, you hear that? Amazing, right? Pharmaceutical products created in an incredibly short time have saved millions of lives, so they say, worldwide, and enabled the country to get back to business. If you haven't yet gotten fully immunized, do so now. Stop making excuses, including the latest one we've heard about how Big Pharma is raking in too much money. Big Pharma, the same group, the same Sackler family, right, that I just read earlier, that has upped, right? First they was offering like 5.6 billion to stop this prosecution from the opioid addiction that they've exacerbated through over the last like 30 plus years, right? So now they tacked on another 6 billion plus. So it's over 10, it's over 10 billion, around 11 billion or something dollars. They offering to bring an end to this prosecution against them, right? Okay, so now it's saying here, right, that Big Pharma and J&J and Moderna and Pfizer, they making all kind of money from these, you understand, from these vaccines. Okay, and again, these is tax dollars, right? Fauci, and again, I got the book here, The Real Anthony Fauci by Bobby Kennedy Jr. I haven't got into it yet. You understand what I mean? Because I'm just finishing up Home Wreckers by Aaron Glantz. About Wilbur Ross and Steve Mnuchin and Donald Trump and this boy Barrick and the guy that owns Blackstone, the Edomite Schwartzman. I tell you, man. Yesterday they talk about your vice president Kamala Harris, and yesterday I missed it in the past. I tell you, Donald Trump ain't no different than he right in with the group. It's all game. You understand what I'm saying? Just like they made all these people, brought them into foreclosure. That's how Mnuchin and Wilbur Ross had become billionaires. This boy Barry, Schwartzman, billionaires, foreclosures. Okay. You understand? They bad up all the property. This Barrick and Schwartzman and Blackstone and BlackRock bad up all of the foreclosed homes, all of the properties. And when they get them, as I read on the last session, they jacking up the prices for rent, tripling the prices, quadrupling the prices to rent these places. Okay? Yeah, you understand? Who can afford that? You follow me? So again, these vaccine makers is making all this money, okay? Like I say, Pfizer, J&J, Moderna, Purdue Pharma, right? But now it's a cartoon down here below. And the cartoon, President Biden says inflation is Vladimir Putin's fault. And then this is a guy, they walk into their car. They just been grocery shopping, right? A man and his wife. And so the man say, President Biden says inflation is Vladimir Putin's fault. And his wife say, and just like $7 bacon, most people aren't buying it. Okay, now that's the real deal. She said, and most people, she said, just like bacon, most people are not buying it, right? Because again, lies and deception, right? Chicago Tribune, March 25th. Hundreds of Jewel Osco workers still waiting on raises. Salaries were negotiated in December contract. Now this is Jewel Osco, right? Food store, and a drug, a pharmacy company, like a drugstore, Osco, right? They got negotiated raises for themselves. I guess they got a union back in December. Here it is, March. Now, when I'm reading this, like I say, March the 25th, they still hadn't got their raises, the money yet. So how long they gotta wait? How long they gotta wait? Jewel Osco said it was an oversight. What? You understand what I'm saying? They said it was an oversight. Said the union represents 4,000 meat, fish, and deli workers. Okay? At 182 Jewel Osco locations. That's here in Chicago, right? The suburbs and Northwest Indiana. 182 outlets. And they still haven't gotten their money yet for the raise. Now, what's that about? Huh? Then you know they upset about that. Okay? Here it is, what? 3 months later, they still haven't got no semblance of the money yet. Chicago Tribune, March 25th, right? Developer plans 1,100-acre solar farm in northern Indiana. Okay? See, now again, like I read here, what was it, the month before last, a few months back, what happened over there in Europe? They set up these solar farms, with the windmill, wind blow, turn the mill, generate electricity, right? And so that's what they setting up. You understand? 1,100-acre solar farm in northern Indiana. Now, some of these now, as I'm reading this might be just the solar panels on the roof, okay? Not the windmill generated. See, but again, just like with the windmills, because we came through Indiana. I came through, here last year, right? Twice. And they already got the windmills generated. I mean, far as you can see, when you go through a certain part of northern Indiana, I already got the wind. So this might be just the solar panels on the homes, right? But whether it's solar with the solar panel or the generated windmills, right? We was listening to Jim Rickards here about 2 months ago, month and a half, 2 months ago. Jim Rickards did a thing with Daniela Cambone or Cambone, however you pronounce it. Cambone, Daniela, right? Stansberry. Jim Rickards said he got solar. Okay? He up in Massachusetts. So he got solar panels. He said, but it's only good when the sun is shining. He said, when it's cloudy, you're not getting anything. Right? And just like I read a few months ago about the windmills generating electricity, right? The winds got to blow. And they've already saw, they've seen over there in Europe, right? They set up all these windmill generated, electricity, right? And they said in 2018, they got like 18% of their energy, from the windmill generating, electricity. But they noticed in 2019, when they did this, the overview and the survey, it had gone down. Matter of fact, I take that back. They got 32%. I think it was in 2018. They only got 18% in 2019 because they said the wind wasn't blowing. Huh? The wind wasn't blowing. So who controls the wind? You follow what I'm saying? So you can't get away from, he's the one that makes the wind blow or not. He's the one that brings the clouds and lets the sun shine or not. So you can't get away from it. You understand what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, March 26. The Israelis and 3 Arab diplomats set for historic summit, right? So the Edomites trying to, reel in the Ishmaelites, get them up, signed up with them, right? These summits, right? But the Ishmaelites say they still want the Edomites to make peace with the Palestinians. They say they ain't forgot about the Palestinians, right? But these is Ishmaelites. These ain't Palestinians. You understand? But these is all Hebrews. The Edomites, the Ishmaelites, and the Palestinians, because the Palestinians is really Israel. And the Edomites and the Ishmaelites know that. You follow what I'm saying? Also, March 26, 2022, Australians irked by flood response. Disaster has some saying government is not up to the task. Again, Australia was racked by floods. Y'all flooded it big time. Big time. They got major flood problem over there. It's affected much of Australia. Okay? And again, that's y'all attacking. Right? Because Australia is hooked up with the, Illuminati Edomite here. You understand what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, March 29th. Mutual worries over Iran, a central theme at the Edomites talks with these, the summit, right? With Bahrain, Egypt, Morocco, United Arab Emirates, the UAE, right? And Iran was the central topic. You follow what I'm saying? Because the Edomites don't want America to cut this deal, the JCPOA. They don't want it. So they're trying to dynamite that. And again, these Ishmaelites, they're afraid of Iran. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, Iran know they a bunch of snakes. You understand what I'm saying? And sided up with Esau. You know what I mean? The Ishmaelites, right? Chicago Tribune, March 29th. G7 rejects demand to pay for gas in rubles. They claim they're not going to pay for the gas and the oil in rubles. But Putin said it's either that or we're going to turn it off. Because I saw here last week one of his representatives, Russian, he had on his uniform and he said, hey, you understand? They either going to pay with rubles or it will get turned off. Now, as simple as that. You ain't got to pay us in rubles. But you were not gonna get no gas, no oil either. Now, that's the deal there. Okay. Said they was asked if Russia could cut natural gas supplies if customers rejected demand to pay in rubles. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said in a conference call that we clearly aren't going to supply gas for free. Okay. Now, you either pay in rubles or we cutting it off. Simple as that. Okay. They got in here too, Walmart to cut cigarette sales. Now, when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, the reason why Walmart is probably cutting cigarette sales in certain states is because people ain't got the money to pay for them. Cigarettes is expensive. You understand what I'm saying? I doubt if they doing it for altruistic reasons. They don't care if the people get cancer or get all kind of disease from smoking cigarettes. They've been selling them all this time. Say Walmart will no longer sell cigarettes in some of its stores, though tobacco sales can be a significant revenue generator. Yeah, if the people got money to buy them. So they must not be selling. You understand what I'm saying? Because cigarettes is expensive. Okay, so they don't want to say that, right? They don't want to say people they sit up on the shelf, people are not buying them because they don't have the money. You understand what I mean? So people cutting their habit. You understand? Also, Carlsberg, Heineken pulling out of Russia. That's the beer sales, And, from what I understand, it's the Carlsberg and Heineken is a bunch of garbage anyway. I don't really drink beer. I really don't. Never really cared for it, so I wouldn't know. But they supposed to be pulling out of Russia. But again, I'm sure they got something to fill up that void, as far as the beer is concerned. Chicago Tribune, March the 30th. Food staples at risk in Arab world. Cost of grains rising with export giants entrenched in war. Now this is out of Beirut. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, so again, you understand what I'm saying? This is hurting many countries, especially in the south part of the earth. You follow what I'm saying? This is what I hear. They're not getting grains that come out of the Ukraine. Like I say, Egypt, Pakistan, Indonesia, different parts of the continent, so-called Africa and whatnot. They're not getting that grain, man. And they're not getting the oil, right? Okay. So, it's something. Chicago Tribune, March the 30th. Gunman kills at least 5 during latest deadly attack in Israel. Now, again, this is, so-called Palestinians, went off and attacked the Edomites. You follow what I'm saying? So, they got him, killed him. And more likely than not, he got a family over there, got a house. They probably tore the house down. They ain't going to tell it. You understand? That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, it's this chokehold getting tight on the people of the earth. So you seeing people go off and do all kind of crazy stuff. Chicago Tribune, April the 1st. Scientists finish building complete human genome. Effort likely to lead to clearer picture of evolution biology. Hear that? Evolution. In other words, y'all don't exist. This is evolution. So the Edomites, supposedly said they have completed the first human genome. You know what I mean? A bunch of nonsense. Think they the creator. Chapter 14. Mingling seeds and everything else. Like I say, some of you probably watched that secret intersex. I told you, that Jacob and Hadassah, sent here, and I watched it. I told you, it's nauseating, right? And they've been doing this for years. See, and when you see that, then you really understand what Yah is saying in Yeshaya chapter 56 about the eunuch. You follow me? Because this was done to these children. They had no say in it, where their chromosomes was changed. Right? Here's a male, his chromosome changed to a female. Here's a female, her chromosome changed to a male. And they all messed up. And if you watch that secret intersex, it's something. It's horrible. Okay? But that's why y'all said that, because now he's giving a chance for these children who this been done to, these adults who this been done to when they was a child. They had no say in it. You understand? That's why he said, if a eunuch chooses the things that please me, and they learn how to cleave unto Yah and love the name of Yah and love the way of Yah, he gonna make them a place in his dominion, better than sons and daughters, children of Israel, who rejected him. And we know we got plenty of those, right? Also, 2 Palestinians killed during Israeli raid on refugee camp. This is out of Jerusalem. Okay? Like I said, they kill Palestinians every day over there, just like they killing plenty of Israelites over here every day. Because indirectly or directly, they behind this gun shooting and heroin using and all kind of stuff that's death and destruction. Like I said, Walmart didn't stop selling cigarettes because they became all of a sudden altruistic. Okay? They stopped selling because they sitting up on the shelf, nobody buying them. And that's the real deal. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't hard to figure out. Okay? Because cigarettes are expensive. Right? Chicago Tribune, April the 1st. Inflation gauge watched by Fed hits 40-year high. Right? Since 1982. Soaring prices for food and energy help fuel historic year-over-year increase. Also, the Kremlin insists that gas be paid in rubles. Okay? Again, you don't get rubles, you don't get any gas or oil. It's just that simple. Chicago Tribune, April the 2nd. European inflation climbs to record 7.5%. And if they say 7.5%, it's probably 15%. You can't expect them to tell you the truth. Okay? Ruble's remarkable rebound. Hear that? Recovery of Russian currency may mean Western sanctions are not as strong after all. Now that's true. Okay? Now that's the truth there. You follow what I'm saying? See, like I said, you stay on this, little truths bleed through. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to stay on it to be able to discern, the truth from the propaganda. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times, April the 3rd. Businesses seek Treasury help with coin shortage. Now this is being done purposely. They came out with this here about what? A couple years ago, and I talked about it then. They doing this just like they did the silver. The silver coins. They systematically took them off the scene. Now they taking coins, period, off the scene. Why? Because they moving people to this cryptocurrency. So they talking about it's a coin shortage. Because again, to mint these coins, that costs. Plus you got to have the alloys, whether they earth sates, even though they earth sates, you know what I'm saying. You still got to have the alloys it costs to mint these coins, nickels and dimes and quarters and half dollars, right? You hardly ever see half dollars anymore. You see quarters, dimes, nickels, and some pennies. But, they've been talking about taking the penny out, right? So, again, they talking about taking all of the coins off the scene because they going to cryptocurrency. Simple as that, right? And also, here, this article, said a cathartic journey. What to send up depicts pain of being black in an anti-black society. And I spotlighted this because I was having a conversation, with some brothers. And, I was telling them, you understand, they get away with a lot of this garbage on us because we think we black, right? We've been anesthetized mentally with this thought of we're black. So I read this again. Cathartic journey, right? What to send up. This is a play. What to send up. You saw the brother, right? His hands up in the air, right? Praying, and the people behind him, right? What to send up depicts pain of being black in an anti-black society. And again, it has nothing to do with pigmentation. See, but they don't understand that. You follow what I'm saying? See, they've been anesthetized mentally. You follow me, thinking it's pigmentation because I'm not black, I'm brown. And if you take a good look at this brother here, you understand what I'm saying? Even though this is a black and white picture, he ain't black either. He's brown more than likely like myself. And though the others are standing behind him. You understand? They brown. Almond, pecan, mahogany. You understand what I'm saying? See? But they're going to characterize us all as being black, and they saying that's the reason why these things happen to us, because of our skin color. That's totally and utterly ludicrous. We Israel. We under a curse. See? And this is what you get many Israelites. They refuse to acknowledge that. They refuse to deal with that. They don't, I ain't no Israelite, You understand? Chicago Tribune, April 3rd. Israeli troops killed 3 Palestinians in the West Bank. Like I said, that goes on every day. Over there, over here, wherever Israel is. Definitely over in the land and here in the daughter of Babylon. It is happening over in the UK and France and these places too. Wherever we are, we under the curse. You follow what I'm saying? In the Congo, in South Africa, in Nigeria, wherever Israel, we under the curse. You understand? Chicago Tribune, April the 3rd. Minimum wage would be $61.75 an hour if it rose at the same pace as Wall Street bonuses. Huh? That's what the minimum wage, that's probably what it should be anyway. Regardless of the Wall Street bonuses, you understand? That's what it should be anyway, $61.75 minimum wage to keep up with inflation. You understand what I'm saying? To be able to have you a decent place to live, to feed yourself and your family if you got one. You understand what I'm saying? And now with this inflation rising, it has to keep on rising, and it's not. Huh? People just got, you understand, you got people still want $15 an hour, and that was obsolete 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? 25 years ago, 30 years ago, $15 an hour was obsolete. You understand what I'm saying? Chicago Tribune, April the 3rd. Inflation keeps rising, but your salary probably won't. Okay? They got in here, here's why. And again, they said food prices are up, rent prices are up, and gas prices are so high that Uber and Lyft drivers are considering quitting. You hear that? Inflation is 7.5%, the highest it's been since 1982. And if they say 7.5%, it's probably what I'm hearing, anywhere from 15 to 17% inflation. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you the truth, right? Yet it's unlikely that wages will rise correspondingly. Okay? I just circled this one thing. It says, in lieu of salary increases in line with inflation, many employers are turning to other alternatives. According to the Mercer survey, 41% of employers are implementing retention bonuses, which have the benefit of offering a pay bump without locking the employee into a permanent salary bump. In other words, you do real good, I give you a little bump, I give you a little bonus. But I ain't locked in to this, because next week it might go back to what I gave you the week prior to the bonus. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Because again, these you understand, this inflation keeps ramping up. The employer, he can't lock his or her employees in to this, this pay hike, because they'll go broke. See, that's the problem with inflation, and fiat currency. You follow me? Now, this is the paper Benaiah and Zacchaeus sent. They sent us this JCN, It's called the Jerusalem Chronicle newspaper, right? And again, I see convolution in here, you know, how they print it. You know, they say they have YHWH, Yah, right? Then they have YAH at times, you know, the phonetical spelling without the last H. Because like I said earlier, the phonetical spelling would be YAHH, not just YAH. But also they have Yahweh in here. So which is it? You understand what I mean? Y'all got one name, one way, one name. You understand? So they don't understand that. But this is what I mentioned earlier here. They got this little article that says doctors in Ghana report more death vaccinated people than unvaccinated. And this is out of Ghana. And what they've seen from their research, the people who get vaccinated, they're the ones that die. The people that don't get vaccinated, they don't have any problem. Okay? And that's out of the Jerusalem Chronicle News, March, April 2022. Okay? Now here's another article out of Jerusalem News, March, April 2022. JCPOA nuclear talks with Iran ends deadlock. Deadlocked. See, that's why I said earlier, ain't heard nothing more about these talks America been in with Iran. JCPOA, right, is deadlocked. Okay? See, and the Edomites have put out that they reserve the right to act at any moment in any given way, suggesting a preemptive attack or sabotage on Iran. They already been doing that. The last few years they've been doing that to Iran, killing off their scientists and whatnot. They've been doing that already. See, so this is where those talks are, right? Deadlocked. Because you know what America do, you got to do what we say. You understand what I'm saying? And that day is over with. Okay, you ain't putting your finger in people's face telling them what they got to do. All right, that day is long gone. Okay, it's a new day. And again, they gathering up against America round about. You remember 50-51, right? Chapter 50, chapter 51. Chicago Sun-Times, April the 5th. More than 100 rounds fired in Sacramento. Arrest made. Now, I know many of you heard about that. 6 people dead at the time, 12 wounded, right? It might be some more dead that died from their wounds since then. I haven't had a chance to look in the day's paper, right? That was in Sacramento. Over 100 shells they found, you understand, shell cases. And we heard some of it on the news, sound like machine gun. So they must have had them drums with all them shots. They pop, 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 pop. You understand what I'm saying? And Esau keeps this kind of stuff going. He's want to put these guns out here. Because like I said, I remember a time when anybody got shot, man. That was like, what? Got shot? That was a rarity. Very rare. This back, in the 60s, middle toward the late 60s. And then as you come up into the 70s since, more and more guns put out here on the street. By the time you get up into the 90s and the 21st century, there's guns everywhere. Now you see guns everywhere, right? And that's Esau. Keep chaos going. Keep them killing one another. And when you murder somebody, you destroy yourself, right? See? Because somebody said something. Like this Will Smith with his idiotic self. Huh? You understand? Under the control of this nothing woman. That's why y'all made all her hair fall out. With her arrogance. You understand? She having intercourse with her son's friend in their house. What kind of nonsense is that? And he's still with her. So he ain't got a brain cell in his head. Right? See? You follow me? Like I said, when I read the thing, when the Caucasian or Edomite a comedian at the Academy Awards made mention of this open marriage they got and alluded like evidently to her having intercourse with her son's friend. You understand? She laughed out loud, they said, about that. Will Smith, he kind of cowered, looked uneasy, they said. But later on, when Chris Rock made this about G.I. Jane 2, he wanted to see her in it, how she would look great, right? She sat there with this arrogant look. She didn't like it. Will Smith was laughing. He was kind of smiling at first. Then he looked and saw her. Then he takes it upon himself to get up and go smack Chris Rock. Now, so you understand, you know, at some point, and it's already didn't happen, but I heard it's a comedian that came out and, you know, called her a whore and some other stuff. So I guess he gonna try to look him up and slap him too, because you know it's gonna happen at some point. He gonna be somewhere, right, with her or without her, and somebody gonna say something who like Chris Rock or whatever, right? And somebody gonna say something about her again, and they gonna say, "Come and slap me." That's what you lay yourself open for. You know, like somebody put to me here, what was it, last year? You know, that comes into the Q&A and say, you know, well, you know, what are we supposed to do if you with your woman and somebody slap her on the behind? What you supposed to do? Like, you know, he want to attack him and fight. Okay, so you attack him and fight because they slapped her on the behind. All right, so as soon as you get through, baby, you whip him. And then you say, come on. And then you and your woman go down the street and then somebody else come and slap on the behind. You going to fight him too? And then the next day you come out, or 3 days later you come out, you with her. Somebody come and slap on the back. You gonna fight him too? You gonna do that every time that happens? Or are you gonna stop and consider? Ecclesiastes chapter 7, with the wisest man on earth and ever will be said. Are you gonna stop and consider, you know, what is she about? What am I about? What she got on? Like David Chappelle said, you know, when you see these women, a lot of how these women dress, and you come and approach them like they're a whore, and they're like, you don't talk to me like that. I ain't no whore. Well, you got on a whore's uniform. I mean, if I see somebody, what did David Chappelle say? I see somebody dressed up in a police uniform, and I need help. I say, officer, come in, and they tell, well, I ain't no policeman just because I'm dressed like one. Right? You follow me? So you understand? You either gonna stop and consider is something that you doing wrong, something she doing wrong, huh? You understand what I'm saying? If you're supposed to be about the Most High, then you're supposed to be about the Most High. You ain't supposed to be about him. You about it. Now, if you about him and your woman's not, what you doing with her? Again, Amos 3:3, two can't walk together unless they are agreed. Read Proverbs chapter 5 and chapter 6, right? And what does Yah say? Vengeance belongs to him. The judgment is him. That's Deuteronomy 1:17. If we're using Yah's laws, statutes, ordinance, judgments, commandments, and precepts to judge. Now, if we not, right, then you think you can take out vengeance yourself? Because again, you understand? Chris Rock, like he said, I'm a comedian. I mean, that was a joke. That wasn't as bad as what the Caucasian or the Edomite, you know, woman said prior to me. You didn't have no problem about that. Jada, she laughed at that. But she didn't laugh at this because it's, you know, talking about, you know, she ain't got no hair on her head, right? And again, like I said, I read Yeshaya chapter 3. What do y'all say? You're going to cause the daughters of Zion baldness. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. So they calling it alopecia. I call it Yah. Huh? Judgment. Because of how you are being an Israelite. And I'm certain that's what Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith are. They Israelites. You follow me? Just like Chris Rock. Now again, Chris Rock, he say a lot of stuff, you know, that I'm not in harmony with. Because he uses profanity, number one. You know what I mean? So, you know, so again, he must have, that was supposed to happen because it happened. You understand what I mean? But you see how we act. And again, that's what my manicurist told me. You know, she told me, she said, yeah, Israel, she said it. One of her customers said they was around some Caucasians and they was talking about this. And she said her customers told her, said, yeah, one of the Caucasians said to the other Caucasian, that's how they act. you know, because they're going to use that connotation. Black people, that's how they act. See, but again, this is the thing about Israel being emotional and allowing their emotions to take control of them, having them doing stupid things. That's why, you know, through the years, I've avoided the term love because it has the connotation of emotion applied, just like I avoid the connotation of hate. Those project emotions, controlling a person, right? I've used the term cleave, which again, you look that up, it means the same as love. And don't we see that in Genesis chapter 3? The husband leaves his father and mother and go cleave unto his wife, and then he loves his wife. Again, you say cleave, it means love, right? So we cleave unto our husband, which is YHWH of hosts, right? And how do we cleave to our husband, right? He cleaves to us when we're what? Cleaving to our wife. Malachi chapter 2, which is the law, the wife of our youth, the covenant. That was for our forefathers then. When they heard the words of Yah, he spoke to them, the only nation to hear the voice of Yah. And that was for them then and those who were not there to come for all time, including us today. So we cleave to our wife, which is the law and all the attributes of the law, Deuteronomy 30 verse 2, right? And then so cleaving to our wife, that makes us be cleaving to Yah. And he, in turn, our husband, he cleaves to us, right? Because he loves us. He cleaves to us. He cares about us when we are in harmony with all of the law. Deuteronomy 30 verse 2. A-L-L. You can't pick and choose. See? Because again, coming back to that brother that brought that to me, right? About that, you understand, situation about, the priest being brought down from the land of the Medes to teach these people who had been brought from the land of the Medes, who was living in the land of Israel, but was worshiping their idols, and y'all sent lions on them. Huh? You understand? Y'all brought you understand, they had them, priests brought down to teach them the way of the law, which those priests did. So the brother, he's like, well, first he said, these are the priests of Jeroboam. I'm like, no, that's 200 years earlier, brother. These ain't the same priests. Them priests dead. So he said, well, YHWH, they got carried away because, they wasn't about the law. I said, yeah, just because they wasn't about it didn't mean they didn't know it. And when they were humbled, when y'all put that whipping on their butt, like you're supposed to do with a child, when you raise them and teach them, when they get out of harmony enough, you understand, and you done reprimanded them once or twice or three, all depending on what it is, you done told them you can't do that, and they keep on wanting to do it. They keep on doing it. Then you got to put some fire on their behind and make it plain to them. Like the old folks used to say, and as I said to this brother the other day, I guess I'm considered one of them old folks being 71. He laughed, I laughed too. You did what I'm saying? But when you put the old folks used to say, when you put that whipping on them right, just like what Yah said to Ezekiel in the book of Ezekiel, right? He said, when you see how they act, when they get, this is after 586, when Jerusalem was destroyed, and that third that was brought up, he killed a third by the sword, and a third of the people in the fire. Right? He had Jeremiah bind up some of them in his skirt. And when the third that was left was taken up into Babylon, what did Yah tell Jeremiah? Take that third he had bound in his skirt and throw them in the fire. Right? But that third that was taken up into Babylon, when Yah started coming to Ezekiel, what did he tell him? When you see how these ones act, this third that's going to be brought up here to Babylon, when you see how they act when they get up here, you're going to know I have not done all that I have done in vain. Because Yah put a whipping on their butt. And when they got up there to Babylon and Ezekiel saw them, they was humble. They was, we gonna do what's right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what, you understand? When Yah put that whipping on them priests, when they was taken up there in the land of the Medes, 722, 721 BCE, when they called for them, some of them priests to come back down there and teach them the law, and probably ask, who want to go there? Yeah, I go. You understand? Take me back to the land. You understand? You understand? I'm humbled. And they brought them back, and then they was in harmony, and they taught them how the law of Yah. Now, the reason why I'm saying this again, the reason why how you see how Yah brings this stuff back, how, I told you before, I'm kind of like Coltrane in a way, right? Now, this brother, the last 3-4 months, he been calling. Like I said, he been calling about 13 years. Like I said, he used to be adversarial to me about the first 8.5 years. But the last like 2.5 or so years, he didn't change. And I brought this to him the other day. I said, and I brought it to him before that, and I brought it up again then, the other day. I said, I know why, because you saw I never became adversarial to you. He said, yeah, you understand? You understand? Because that's on him. He got the answer for that. Not me. I ain't letting him draw me into that hole with him. So now he's come out. And that's great so far. It looks, right? So he like, so he said, yeah, well, they talked in the line.